say 1 million or something up here on the ISS, all on my Lotum with just my cat Dave. Little flashing light says running out of O2, not really sure what that's about. NASA sent a message saying you're just a clone, we're going to deactivate you anyway. Also not sure what that's about. I'm definitely not a clone. I'm definitely not a clone. No, anyway, don't worry about contacting NASA. Just share this stream with police or someone. Maybe then they'll come and help me. I don't know, guys, but you know, I'm starting to get a bit worried because I've been up here for a long time and getting a little bored. So yeah, share the stream. Anyway, let's do this.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE, and welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Mark Zuckerberg is attempting to do to Twitter and what Elon Musk has basically already done to Twitter. Yeah, so welcome, guys, for another wonderful discussion on a brilliant Monday night. Sorry about the slightly late start. I hit the wrong button and everything went because, you know, brilliant at tech I am. Tonight, we are going to go over to medicinal mass media and talk to a bunch of raving mad lunatics that think the Earth is a flying magic frisbee in space or some such nonsense because, you know, I hate myself or something. I'm not sure. I hope you all enjoy the stream. Let's get on with it. See what's going on over in the Den of Dumb. The Discord of delusion. Medicinal mass media.
Committed, you know. But me and D-Mock got a server now. So next time me and FTFE or McToon will debate with me and D-Mock in my...
You should do like a D-Mock and Patman duo team debate.
Awesome.
Like,
all right, well, thank you, FTFE, for coming. Tonight we have FTFE versus the MMM.
The MMM.
MMM.
Is that like the NWO from WWE or something?
Oh, it's like M&M's, but like with an extra M.
How's everyone doing today?
Good. How are you, FTFE?
Living the dream, and by that I mean
Good.
I'm not really sleeping very much, and you know, and generally crazy. So yeah. Right. So I heard on the grapevine that some flat earthers had some questions for me.
Dude, I'll tell you this: you're not going to get much sleep after these questions. When we ask you these questions, you're not going to get any more sleep.
I know. I'll probably be laughing really hard.
Well,
so hard
you're
that
laughing
I find
now,
it
but you won't. You may not be laughing later.
Well, I'm definitely going to be laughing at the questions that you give me if they're, you know, anything like the normal questions.
All right, man.
You might be laughing, FTFE, but you're still going to be continuously addicted to these channels. You keep coming back and you keep popping in.
Yeah, it's fun.
So
Flat Earth. Everybody loves Flat
that.
Earth. That's a fact.
Yeah,
Everybody
it is the
loves
greatest
Flat Earth.
comedy. It is absolutely the greatest comedy on Earth. In fact, I would describe Flat Earth as the internet's pet rock.
Wow. Well, the globe is literally
Having
like
a
a pet
gravity
rock.
sling on it. Are you going to be able to throw that rock over the edge of the curve?
Hold on. Okay. First, let me ask you, because we don't want to ambush you. You've heard certain. I don't know what you heard, but we want to know what you're gonna say. So
you want to know what I'm going to say?
First, let me just ask you: do you really believe in gravity? Like, are you a true believer?
Belief is irrelevant. I don't have beliefs. I am not a child. I say this quite often, but I class myself as someone who doesn't have beliefs. I base my position on logic and evidence, and the evidence for gravity is overwhelming.
So it wouldn't be fair to it wouldn't be unfair to say that you're a true believer.
It would be completely unfair to say I'm a true believer because, as I just explained to you, I don't.
Okay,
have
you
beliefs.
know that you know that you know that you know, right?
Hey,
I am aware that gravity is an empirical fact, as this is something I have tested myself. Yes.
Okay.
Are
great.
Are you also saying that it's easy to manipulate you, that the tooth fairy is real and gravity is real in the same sort of evidence? Right?
No. The evidence for the tooth fairy is similar to evidence for God, non-existent.
A lot of evidence for gravity. I agree. Okay,
there's plenty of
can you
evidence for
answer a
gravity.
couple
Absolutely
questions
loads of evidence for gravity.
Okay,
Overwhelming amounts
that's good.
of evidence for gravity.
That is because I got some questions here, and I need to hear it from somebody who knows these things. And
okay,
you just
promise me you're not going to poo today, and we'll have a decent conversation.
Okay. Well, feel free to mute me if you feel threatened by anything.
Oh no, just don't.
I just want to know if you believe it or you know it. I just want to know.
Belief is
what
irrelevant. Gravity is a fact.
Hold on, Craig. Let Sink Cleanser get his whole question out.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know what you know on this.
Gravity is a fact. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. That being said, we just want to know what you know on this topic here. Just a couple brief, very simple questions. Trust me, we're not going to blow your mind with these questions. They're very simple. Anybody who believes or knows it like you do, we just want to hear what you say. Is the Earth in a gravitational well of some sort?
The Earth creates a gravitational well and is in the gravitational well of the solar system, which itself sits in the gravitational well of the galaxy.
Okay, so can we measure the Earth's gravity?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. How? Okay, first of all, tell me how we can measure the Earth's gravity. Because I don't know how you
to
would
be able
do
to
it.
measure Earth's gravity. A classic one would be Cavendish. Or you could use the
let's do Cavendish.
Or
I've heard Cavendish.
You could use superfluid phase coherence measurements, or you could use
slow down. No, one at a time.
Measurements.
I can only do one at a time. Let's do Cavendish, right?
Yeah.
What did Cavendish do?
He measured the gravitational attraction between masses, and used what he was able to measure to calculate the weight of the Earth.
Okay. Dude, you're doing great so far. You're doing excellent. So
I'm aware.
Dude, you're killing it, bro.
This is just
it's not gonna hit you yet.
A million times.
It hasn't hit you yet, but when it comes, you'll know how heavy it is. Okay.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Cavendish, did he measure the mass of the Earth?
He measured the weight of the Earth. Yeah.
Okay, so
he calculated the weight of the Earth.
What's the weight of the Earth?
I don't know
that he was able to measure with his gravity experiment.
I don't know.
How do you not know that?
Okay, hold on. It's only going to get worse. Trust me.
Because I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of every figure ever.
Okay, but is there a number?
Irrelevant. Yeah, I'm sure there's a number.
Is there a weight? What's the weight of the Earth?
I'm sure there is a weight. Yes, I'm sure there is.
Okay. We don't even need to know the particular. We don't even know. Okay, you agree that there's a weight to the Earth?
Yes, of course there is. Mass.
And that's measured in mass, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so mass.
There's a mass of the Earth, which is measured in kilograms.
Kilograms, you say? Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's the standard SI unit of measurement for mass. Yes.
Okay, so you can what's the smallest measurement of mass called?
The smallest measurement of mass.
Yeah, like the smallest measurement of. Okay, well, like it's a mole, right? Moles measurements of mass, like the smallest. They're measured in moles, right? Masses.
Mass is measured in kilograms. That's what the SI unit for measuring mass is kilograms.
And there's a weight to the moles.
Yeah, but we're not talking about moles. You wanted to know the weight, the mass of the Earth, that would be in kilograms.
Okay. Well, here's what I'm getting to. You say, from what I understand, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but gravity is mass, or what's the relation between mass and gravity?
Gravity creates a force that's proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them.
So gravity is created by mass.
And distance.
Okay. Well, we know the mass of the Earth, right?
We do, yes.
Okay, so how much... let me try to word this correctly.
Hey, wait.
What's the volume of Earth's gravity?
For the volume of Earth's gravity, that's not a question that makes any sense.
Well, no, think about it, because we know
that
mole
question
has a weight.
Does not make sense. The question,
we know
what
mole
is the
has
volume
a weight.
of gravity? Yeah, but the question,
Okay.
what is the volume of
Slow
gravity,
down.
is a nonsensical question that does not have
No,
an answer.
you don't have to
Let
smile,
us
dude. It's a very
describe the
simple question.
fundamentals
Let's
before
take it
you
slow.
just
Let's
call
take
it
it slow.
nonsense. You know
Well,
what I
no,
mean?
You
again,
agree
the
moles
question.
have a
Okay,
weight.
I'm currently talking. I am currently talking.
Hold on.
Right?
Yeah, hold on
The
a second. Hold on a
question-
second. Hey,
The
Pat.
question.
Pat.
Hold on, let me finish, please.
quiet
The
down.
question, what is the volume of gravity, is nonsensical. It is not. Those are definitely words, but put together, they
Yeah.
don't make a coherent sentence.
Oh, I only know words. I don't know any science. I don't know anything about gravity.
I'm
You're
aware
right
of that.
on that.
But what you
that's
don't
why
know
I'm asking
apparently
the
is
questions,
sentences,
because
the sentence,
you're the guy
what
that
is
knows.
the volume of gravity, is not a sentence.
Okay, let's start over. Let's slow
It is
down.
simply
Let's go
a
back.
combination
Let's
of
take a
words.
couple steps back and slow down. Let's take a couple steps back. Does mole have a weight?
Does mole have a weight?
The measurement of mass, that's a weight?
No, weight is mass times gravity.
Okay, well, what is mass?
Well, mass is stuff.
Okay, does that stuff have
Mass
a weight?
is resistance to inertia, if you want to be
Okay.
scientific about it.
Okay, does that have a weight?
That a question that doesn't make sense. Does resistance to inertia have weight? That's a question that also doesn't make sense.
Okay, well, can you measure a mole?
Do you know what a mole is?
It's a measurement of mass.
Not really, no.
Okay, then what is it?
Well, a mole is the amount of any substance that contains as many entities as there are in 12 grams of pure carbon-12, related to Avogadro's number. The mole allows scientists to calculate the amount of an elemental substance or chemical compound in a mass.
So does that have an atomic weight?
Well, it depends on everything has a different measurement of. You don't know what mole is. I can't have this conversation with you about moles if you don't know what moles are.
Does a carbon, whatever you just said, have an atomic weight that's measured? Can we measure that?
Does a carbon atom have an atomic weight? Yeah, do you know what the difference between atomic weight and weight is before we continue this
No, I don't know anything.
Right, well, please ask questions that make sense then. Because currently what you're doing is...
What's an atomic weight?
Calm down.
I'm in the middle of talking. I'm in the middle of talking, right? Your questions you are asking me do not make any sense, okay? I'm not going to answer the questions that don't make any sense.
Okay, I'll try to ask better questions. Is that fair?
I would appreciate you asking questions that actually make sense.
Okay, well, I was talking with the Glober earlier today. You may not call him a true believer, but I think he really was a true believer. He said he was making an interesting argument about gravity, and I just want to ask you, where does gravity end?
Again, that's a question that doesn't make any sense.
Well, there's no limit, or does it go on forever, or what do you think?
I already explained to you that gravity creates a force. But whoever's making a horrible noise with the mic, can they stop? Like, someone sounds like they're butt fucking their mic.
Oh, I got a couple of names, I think, who it might be, but...
Right, thank you.
I don't want to speculate.
No, as I explained to you, gravity creates a force that's proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. There's no limit to that. Every bit of mass across the universe is attracted to every other bit of mass, according to Newton's law of gravity.
So you can't tell me the volume of Earth's gravity?
Because that's a question that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it would surely have to do with relative weights
you told me
other gravitational...
that you would ask me questions that are decent.
Okay, well, what's the
make sense. Let me make this clear to you. The question, what is the volume of Earth's gravity, makes no sense. Do not ask that again.
Well, I don't know anything about gravity.
That's very clear.
I don't know even how to ask the right questions, I guess. But
well, maybe you're not qualified for this conversation then.
I'm
maybe
sure I'm not the first person I've ever thought of,
Well, it's the first time I've ever heard the volume of gravity.
They said there's the weight of the Earth. I could Google the weight of the Earth.
There's a mass of the Earth, yes.
There's got to be a mass. Okay, so if mass, what's the function? What's the mathematical function to convert the mass into gravity? How much gravity is on? If we have this amount of mass,
again, that's a question
how much gravity is there? How much gravity is there?
Well, I've already told you. I've already told you several times. Is there a problem with you converting short-term to long-term memory?
I don't think you know how to convert mass to gravity.
Again, right, listen to these words very closely. Gravity creates a force that is proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That means you have big mass, it makes big force.
Okay,
you have
so
smaller
how much...
mass, it makes smaller force.
That.
You
okay,
take,
so how much
you take mass away from other mass, force gets smaller. You put two masses together, force gets bigger.
Can you measure the Earth's gravity well?
You can measure the force of gravity created by Earth, yes.
Okay, is there a number to that?
It creates an acceleration that equals roughly 9.8 meters per second.
That's a rate. That's not an amount. That's a rate.
The force of gravity creates that acceleration.
Okay, if there's a rate, we know the field. We can measure the well by the field, right? And in the field, there's a certain amount of mass that we can measure and there should be, right?
Yeah. So all you need to do, right, is take the numbers, like Earth's mass and the distance to something, and plug those into the formula that I've told you 4 times now.
Okay, so let's put this into the formula. The moon is 250,000 miles, or 30,000, right?
It's about a quarter of a million miles, roughly. On average, it's about 243,000 miles.
Okay, let's work this out, because what's the Earth's weight relative to the moon, right? It's,
I'm not sure. You'd have to.
Probably smaller mass. It's got less weight, right?
I mean, the moon's about 1/6 the mass of the Earth.
Okay. How do we measure that difference?
How do you measure the difference? Well, there are many ways. I don't know particularly how they measured the mass of the Earth. I don't have that information handy. I'm sorry.
You just said Cavendish, though.
Yeah,
and you didn't want to talk about mass, even though he said he measured how to do it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I meant the moon. I don't know the mass of the moon, and I don't know how we measured the mass of the moon.
Well, they said they jumped around on the moon, right? They played golf.
Yeah, they definitely jumped around on the moon. Yeah.
And they said it was like 1/6.
The questions are very. I thought I'd be struggling, but
what's the gravity of the moon? What's 1/6?
It's about 1/6 of that on Earth. Yeah. So the
so
acceleration is about 3 meters per second squared.
Okay, so how much is that?
It's about 1.2 meters per second squared, actually, I think.
Okay, so how much gravity is that?
Well, 1/6. Again, so if you find the mass
in total,
of the moon,
just add them both together.
Again, if you
how
find
much you got?
I don't know the numbers. I've given you the formula. Plug the numbers into the formula.
I'm not the guy who knows anything.
Yeah. I've given you the details. All you need to do is go and find the mass of the moon, the mass of the Earth, and plug them into that formula I've given you.
We just did it. I just walked 1/6. 230,000 miles.
What was the formula? What was the formula?
Okay, what's the measurement?
I told you it words. Right? I'll give you the formulas just so you can help. You might want to write this down.
Oh, dude, no, I don't do any math.
Do you have a pen and paper handy?
Dude, you're asking the wrong guy.
No, hold on. No, just so you know, so I don't need to tell you again. Could you write this down? You got a pen and paper handy?
I don't even think I can't even read.
I don't care. Maybe just use your own feces and scrape it on the wall or something. I'm not sure that's how you communicate in normal life. But the formula is Fg equals gm1 m2 over r squared. That's called Newton's universal law of gravitation. And once again, it creates a force. It explains that a force is created that is proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So if you want to know these answers, like what is the force of gravity on the moon, what's the force of gravity on Earth, all you need to do is find the masses of those things, which you can Google, and put them into that formula I've just given you.
No. I'm not trying to know the force of it. I'm trying to know
you've asked me what the force of gravity is several times.
I don't.
That's not a question that makes. Ask me the total of gravity doesn't make any sense.
No,
please ask questions that make sense. Sin Cleanser, listen to me. Please ask questions
gravity
that make sense.
You're describing it as a rate or as a force, right?
No, gravity creates a force.
Okay, right. So and you can tell the rate by 9.8 meters per whatever.
That's called an acceleration.
Right? Okay, that's the detection of the force, right?
Yeah, because force, is
that's a rate, right? Is that a rate?
It's an acceleration because force equals mass times acceleration.
And is that a rate?
Is acceleration? What do you mean? Is it a rate?
at
Is
which
it a
something
rate
falls,
of acceleration?
right?
It's an acceleration.
Yes, and that's a rate of acceleration 9.
Yeah,
whatever.
so 9.81
I don't know why you're being
meters
so
per
difficult,
second squared
to be
is the value of the acceleration. Just use the right words.
Okay, so that's based on how much mass there is.
Correct.
And we know the mass of the Earth, right?
Correct.
So we know the total amount of gravity we can measure.
We know the force
in this
created
well,
by gravity,
right? We're in a
yes.
gravity well.
We know that
we can measure the depth of this well.
Do you want me to answer?
And the volume
Do you
of
want
it.
me to answer?
Well, just don't say it's not worded right, because I did a pretty damn good job.
There's
that
no
time.
volume of gravity. That's not a question that makes any sense. None at all.
You can just say you don't know.
No, because it's not a question that makes any sense. It simply is
because you don't know how to think.
A volume is some amount of space inside of something. There is no inside of gravity because, as I explained, there is no limit to gravity.
So it goes on forever, huh?
Gravity does go on for every bit of mass in the universe. Is
Okay, well, how do you prove that? How do you prove something like that? How do you prove something like that?
Because Newton's universal law of gravitation works in every way that we've been able to detect on a local level.
Okay, so how does forever work? Can you talk about that? Because a Gloper said that earlier. He's in the room. I don't know if he wants to say anything, but
there's been no other evidence to suggest anything other than the fact that mass attracts mass.
Okay,
it's
but you said forever.
Measured.
You didn't.
Yeah,
said forever.
There's no evidence to suggest that there is a limit to gravity. And as I explained to you earlier, I base
infinite gravity.
As I explained to you earlier, I base my position on logic and evidence. And as there is no evidence to suggest that gravity has a limit, I do not subscribe to the opinion that gravity has a limit, and therefore it would not have a volume. So once again, asking the question, what is the volume of Earth's gravity, is nonsensical.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Because the other guy said the exact same thing. To be quite honest with you, he said there's no limit to gravity.
Right, so you just asked the same questions to the
No, because
I see.
I'm asking about gravity. I don't know what it is. I don't know what you're talking about. And you said it goes on forever. So there's infinite gravity. Is that what you're saying? Infinite gravity? Forever?
Again, that's not a question, a statement that makes any sense.
I'm just trying to clarify what you're saying.
Right.
I'm just trying to clarify what you mean.
I've clarified it for you several times, and I guess I'll do it
once more. What does forever mean? I don't know what forever means. Is that serious?
Just listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. You've got two ears, use them, and then don't ask the same dumb question. Gravity creates a force proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That is the answer to your question. Stop asking the same thing over and over.
Well, I was just looking for a volume.
You don't get a volume because that's not a question that makes sense. There is no such thing
nobody
as
could
a
answer
volume.
it.
Yeah, because there's no such thing as a volume of gravity.
No, I'm going to bow out.
Yeah,
but
he's just saying the same
be able to answer it, by the way.
Yeah, because there's no answer, because it's not a question that makes sense.
Well, we had a productive conversation earlier about it. I don't know why it was so difficult for you to consider these ideas,
again,
because when you think about it, they're pretty...
have a productive conversation about it.
You said gravity lasts forever, and I don't say these things. It's
gravity creates a force that is proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Repeat after me. Say those words.
This is not...
You're repeat after me. Sin cleanser, repeat after me. Gravity creates a force. Go on, say those words.
I don't believe that. That's retarded.
I don't care if you don't believe it or not.
What are you talking about?
I would like you to repeat these words.
Shit, bro.
I would like you to repeat these words so I don't need to tell you it again. So please say the words after me. Gravity creates a force.
You're talking to the wrong guy.
No. I would like you to repeat the words so I know that you've understood what I've said. Please do that for me.
I think you need to have a word with Democ.
No, Democ.
I think it's time that we have Democ talk, because you can't talk to me
effective.
because you don't understand any of the things I'm saying.
Well, it's because you're not making a question.
You told me none of my questions made sense to you, and you didn't know how to answer it.
None of your questions make sense.
You sounded like the other Globers who didn't know how to answer it either.
There is no answer
and that's
to your
all
question
I wanted to
because
clarify.
it doesn't make sense. You haven't asked any questions.
You say gravity goes on forever, dude. That's what you guys say.
Gravity creates a force that's proportional to the
things.
product of two or more masses and inversely proportional
I know,
to the
chant it
square
all
of the
you
distance
want. You
between
sound
them.
indoctrinated,
This is a
dude.
fact. No,
you sound indoctrinated.
Sorry, I've tested this myself. I'm not indoctrinated.
You are an indoctrinated guy that thinks gravity goes forever.
No, gravity
dude.
is real, and
you already
I've
said
measured it.
Okay, you measured forever now.
I've measured gravity.
Are you kidding me? How serious do you expect
there
people
is
to
no
think
evidence that gravity has a limit.
At the same time,
Stop asking the same question over and over.
Okay, gravity goes forever. That's all I wanted to hear. I'm done. Thank you.
So where was the hard questions? Did I miss them or?
You didn't answer any of them.
Well, you didn't give me any questions that made sense. So have you got any questions that make sense?
I'm sure they don't make sense to you.
We know that gravity is real. Do you know how we know it's real? Because it's used in industry. It's literally
okay.
used
What's the mass of the Earth? Well, I'll try that. You want me to try again? What's the mass of the Earth?
I don't know off by heart.
Okay. Is there a mass?
Yes, there is.
Is that a measured weight?
Yes. Weight
so there is a weight to
gravity.
the Earth.
Weight is mass times gravity.
So there would be a measurable correlation between mass and a function relative to gravity, right?
I've already explained that to you several times. Do you not remember the words I said?
So there is a direct function that correlates mass and gravity, right?
I've already answered this question. Why
are you confirming what I'm? Just confirm or deny.
Before we move on, why are you asking me the same questions I've already
Why can't
answered?
you just say yes or no?
Because I just want to know if I'm going to have to answer the same question again.
It's a yes or no question. You want to do yes or no questions?
Before I move on, are you going to then ask me the same question in 2 minutes after
it's just yes or no? Because it does come to a conclusion. There is a point that I'm getting here. Okay, well, let's start over. Because it's just yes or no questions. You don't have to get mad.
I won't answer yes or no.
And then when we're done, we're done.
I will not answer yes or no at the...
when we're done, we're done.
I will not answer yes or no if it forgoes...
Is there a mass to the Earth? Is there a mass to the Earth? Is there a weight?
Weight is mass times gravity.
Does mass have weight?
Weight is mass times gravity.
Okay. So it's like a mass, weight, gravity trinity thing?
Weight is a force. Gravity creates an acceleration of 9.81 meters per second squared. Then you have a mass. So F equals ma is equivalent to W equals mg. They're the same thing.
So we would be able to measure the Earth's mass, or the Earth's gravity by its mass.
So you just asked me the same question that you've asked me about 12 times now. Why do you keep asking the same question?
It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no.
I've asked and answered. Move on.
Why can't you just give a yes or no?
I already have done.
Okay, what is it? Yes or no?
I've asked and answered.
Why do you have to make it so difficult?
I've already answered.
I'm getting somewhere with this.
I told you I wouldn't answer the same question again.
You can't answer a yes or no question.
What was the question?
We've done this 10 times, dude.
What was the question? Because
dude, you just even told me. You kept answering the question. You don't even know what the question is.
Tell me the question, and if you haven't asked it already,
it's a yes or no question. It's a series of yes or no questions.
Right. Start at the beginning. And no, not yes or no.
Have we measured the mass of the Earth? Yes or no?
Yes.
Does that mass have a weight? Yes or no?
That's not a yes or no question.
You can't answer yes or no questions.
That's not a yes or no question because it doesn't make any sense.
Does the mass of the Earth have a weight?
That's not a yes or no question.
Why is it not a yes or no question?
Because mass, weight, is mass times gravity. So you take mass, you times it by the acceleration due to gravity, and you have your weight. So the question,
can we measure all the gravity?
Does mass have weight, does not make any sense.
Can we measure all of the gravity?
All of the gravity of what?
All of the force. All of the thing that causes the force. Can we measure all of that? Isn't that the gravitational well?
We can measure the force created by gravity.
Can we measure the force we're in a well, right? Apparently. It's a gravitational well. Can we measure all the gravity?
We can measure the force created by gravity. We can measure the acceleration created by that force.
Okay, can we measure all of that force that causes gravity?
We can measure the force created by gravity. Why do you keep asking me the same question?
Can we measure all of it?
We can measure the force created by gravity.
Okay. How much force are we talking about?
Depends on the mass.
Well, we know the mass, right?
Well, there you go then. If you want to know... Again, we're going around in circles here. If you want to know the force...
You said you couldn't answer the question. Now that you thought about it, yeah, it makes sense.
Well, you're asking a different question now.
Well, no, I just put it to you in the same way. I had to walk you through it.
No, you're asking me about force instead of weight.
Spiraled on me.
No,
look, it's very simple.
You're asking me a different question than you did before. This is a different question to, is mass weight? This is now, can you measure the force? Those are different questions.
Well, the force and the mass are related, you said.
The force created by gravity is proportional to the product of total masses and inversely proportional
to the
square.
Can we measure all of the force?
I'm talking. And inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. We can measure the force created by gravity. That answers your question. Stop asking the same question over and over.
I know we can measure the force.
There we go.
I'm asking, I'm asking, can we measure all of it?
We can measure the force created by gravity. Asking can we measure
all
of it?
Why is that so difficult?
Because that is not a question that makes any sense, like I told you.
You say we can do it. I'm saying I agree. How much do we have? How much
is there? Put the numbers into the formula.
No, I'm asking you, dude. You don't know how much gravity there is. I'm asking you about gravity. You don't know how much there is.
Heart.
You tell me how to get it. You tell me what it is.
The acceleration equals 9.8 meters per second squared. I do not know all of the numbers of everything ever, because having that knowledge is pointless when I can just look it up.
Well, this is why we can't falsify any of this stuff, because you guys don't know any of the answers to this stuff.
Well, we do know the answers. I just don't have an encyclopedic knowledge.
I should be able to measure.
Right, what I've got is notes, and I can look at my notes. What I've got is the internet, and I can look at the internet.
You can't tell me how much gravity
I'm still talking. All right. If you keep over talking me, I will keep over talking you. All right. So shut your fucking mouth and listen when I'm talking. Okay.
Is that acceleration to the Earth going?
I'm sorry.
Up to
Is
the
someone
object,
else thought I was talking to Sin
object
Cleanser?
falling down?
One at a time, please. Back in your box.
Sorry.
So, have you got any other questions apart from the dumb ones you've been asking over and over that don't make any sense?
I don't think you gave me any answers.
Yeah, because you haven't answered
any
questions.
You chanted all the equations. I agreed with all the equations. I was asking, tell me how much gravity there is. You couldn't tell me how much. You told me the rate.
I told
and
you
how to measure it.
I told you how to measure the force
created
created by gravity.
Okay. Well, I have one other question, and then I'm for serious.
Is this one going to make sense? Because so far none of your questions have made sense.
Well, I'm going to take another shot at this, but does gravity really go on forever?
Gravity creates a force that's proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. That is my answer.
That's Witsit, bro. You sound like You ever heard of Witsit Gets It?
Yeah, I've destroyed him many times.
You just sounded like him, but the Glober version. You said the microbiology of the whatever in the thing. You went in crazy champ mode.
That's because I've already answered
the question. Does gravity go on
forever,
forever, dude? Yes or no?
The answer is that gravity creates a force that's proportional to the product of two or more masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. If you cannot infer the answer from that, that is your problem.
You can't answer a yes or no question. That's fine.
Because you haven't asked the yes or no question.
Does gravity go on forever? You already said it did, bro. I already heard you. It's already recorded. You said it went on forever.
And I don't answer
your
questions
words. You already told me.
Right? Well, if you've already answered it, why are you asking again?
Because the way people justify these things is, to me, it's really incredible, because I don't know how you could prove that. I don't know if you just tell yourself these things, or
because
you want to believe it, or you just
because
think you can just say it goes forever, and
because we've tested it.
You tested for. How did you test forever?
Because we've tested that gravity does not have a limit. We've tested.
Okay, so
it. There is
no limit to gravity.
There's no evidence to suggest there's a limit. No.
Okay.
If you've got evidence to suggest that there is a limit, then you can present it. Otherwise, shut your fucking personal incredulity up
infinite gravity,
and go
bro.
away.
I didn't know there was infinite gravity. I didn't know it went on forever. That's why I was asking.
There we go. You're no longer ignorant. There we go. You are one little bit
gravity
less
goes on
ignorant.
forever.
Again, I was talking, right? Just so you're aware, you are now one little bit less ignorant than you were at the beginning of this conversation.
Infinite gravity.
Congratulations. Yeah.
I've never heard anybody actually say this before.
Are you done?
Gravity.
Are you done just saying stupid things?
I'm going to have to fact check you on this, dude. I don't think you're telling the truth.
Are you done saying stupid things, or...
Infinite gravity.
Are you done saying stupid things now, or...
I'm just listening to you, bro.
Yeah, you done saying stupid things, or... Right, cool. Next.
Thank you. That was a good night. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, well done for showing that you have absolutely no idea about this conversation.
Good effort,
this subject in
mate.
the slightest. Volume of gravity. Fuck me. Right, next. Sin Cleanser destroyed.
Space is fake and gay.
Your mum's what?
God damn it, Shane.
It was just one. I just did it once. We're all good.
All right. Well, then you got to go up against FTFE now.
Is that Shane?
What's up?
How you doing?
What's going on, man?
Not bad, mate. You playing Diablo yet?
No, I quit. I didn't actually try the most recent one. I
just started playing Diablo 4 about 4 or 5 days ago, and I can't stop. It's one of the most addictive gameplay loops I have ever found. Anyway, you got some questions for me, Shane?
No, not really.
Video games are fake and gay.
Well, video games are fake. That's definitely true.
Man, we've argued for hours already. I don't really have anything that we haven't hashed out 100 times, but we can argue if you want.
Okay, I hate you. You're a dick. Does that work?
Yeah, Earth's flat, bitch.
Attack the person, not the attack the argument, not the person, please.
Oh, is that in the rules?
Shane, I'm allowed to attack Shane. It's fine.
I guess so.
Do you guys remember when we used to have these over at Tartaria like every week for like 16 weeks?
18 it got to before they banned
and
me.
and how it ran nicely until I wasn't there, and then you guys blew it up, or you got banned, or whatever happened in there.
Yeah,
like
I asked for a
minutes.
map and it made them angry. Okay, well,
some of the
Shane,
best people get banned from Tartaria.
If you
yeah.
If you don't have any questions for me, I appreciate you being here, just listening, man. And I do appreciate the help you gave me with that server before it went to tits. But let's move on to a conversation with someone who has some questions for me, that maybe questions that make sense, unlike the questions that Sinclair Cleanser tried to give.
We can give you something to look into. Our buddy Alan has been presenting how GPS proves a Earth-centered inertial frame all around, and how GPS isn't just computations from geodesic equations. If you want to look into that, because that'll probably be thrown around our community.
I mean, if you want, I mean, what was that? GPS is in our reference frame, did you say?
Yeah, GPS and like the geodesic coordinate system. So the way that they use the heavy level interferometry,
global positioning system.
The way they use laser interferometry to measure, blinks of light to get the distance, and how satellites communicate with an Earth-centered inertial frame is actually completely at rest. So it's a weird one, for the.
It is
the
a
moving.
geographic positioning system, by the way.
Well, yeah, the movement will be relative to the Earth.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, that's not a problem. I mean, we can treat any reference frame as a rest frame.
I actually discussed this with Alan, the guy that did the presentation the other day.
Oh shit!
And,
I didn't see you here.
Oh, hey Shane. And I kept asking him the same question of why can't we just have that preferred reference frame? Like, why is that a problem in relativity? And that seems to just be a misunderstanding on his part.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was Witsit's problem as well. He didn't understand that you can just choose the rest frame. It doesn't matter.
It's not so much the frame. Right, it's not invoking relativistic properties. It's not the Earth.
What's it into this?
The Earth-centered inertial frame is just the reference frame for a stationary fixed Earth, like the Earth-centered coordinate system, and that's to differentiate it from the other heliocentric coordinate system, from which they translate it back and forth with a really complicated transform equation, which is definitely all in the presentation. There's a bunch of PDFs.
I don't understand why any of that would be an issue for the Earth.
Well, so you're familiar with the Sagnac effect, right?
Yeah.
So there's a actual evidence preferred preferential direction of the speed of light. So it travels faster in one direction than it does the other. Isn't that against some of the principal tenets of relativity?
Doesn't do that.
But it does, though.
No.
It has over hundreds and thousands of experiments. Absolutely.
Light will go, from your reference frame, whichever way you're firing the light, it goes at the speed of light.
Yeah, except when it has to do with, in reality, with satellites, because it reaches the stationary one first, which indicates there's a preferred direction, which travels with light, as the old people called it.
There's transformation equations that we take into account because of the fact that the satellites are moving so fast. There's a lot of relativistic calculations that go into that. There's no problems there. The problem sounds to me like whoever did this presentation doesn't understand the underlying technology.
Yeah.
And rather than try and understand the technology, they've come up with what they perceive as problems with the technology without actually ever understanding it.
I would say he went further towards understanding the actual technology than anyone in the conversation thus far.
Well, if he's come up with that conclusion, he definitely doesn't understand it.
Right, dismissed based on the fact that he came up with the Earth stationary conclusion on the same evidence. I mean, I feel you. We probably have to do that.
Well,
There's another one.
The underlying technology is very well understood. There is no problems with it. So if he's saying that there's problems with it, then he doesn't understand the technology. There's so little problems with it that we use it to navigate. It's complete nonsense and literally just a misunderstanding of the technology involved. If the conclusion he's come to is that there's an issue, then the conclusion is based on faulty premise, because there is no issue, because GPS is a proven technology that works.
Yeah, do you know how it works? Do you know how it measures distance? Do you know the comparable coordinate systems? Do you know the transform equation that they apply? Do you know which is the preferred, let's say call it theta prime coordinate system from which all other calculations are derived?
And all of that would be no problem for the globe.
I like that.
Yeah, and all of that would be absolutely no problem for the globe.
Well, except it's the Earth-centered inertial frame, right? So it's the stationary Earth coordinate system.
Yeah, because they're treating the Earth as stationary because it's the rest frame. There's no issue there.
Doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to us.
Yeah. Can I try to explain Alan's argument? Because I watched the presentation the other day. The thing about the light, can I try to explain that?
Yeah, please. I mean, this does sound like just a complete misunderstanding of technology and the way that light works. But try and explain to me the argument, yeah.
So the argument is that light seems to go faster due to the Seismic effect. It seems to go faster in one direction than the other.
No. Oh my God, no.
Yeah, it's just if we're in motion, then light seems to go slower because you have to have our motion accounted to with the speed of light, right?
I get it now. I get the issue. Yeah. So the Seismic effect is, if you've got a rotating table and you were to with mirrors on that bounce a laser around, and you were to fire a laser in two directions but spin the table, the laser that's traveling in the direction of the spinning table would technically have to travel further. So from the reference frame of the table, it would look like the light that's traveling the same direction as the table would be going slower. But it's not. It's just the table has moved, meaning the amount that the light has to travel has now increased.
Is there bendy PSI on that table?
Oh God,
well,
bendy PSI.
Well, no. So, specifically, he has a very specific example, which I'll put in chat from the PDF from someone named Wang, who ran the experiments and has this distance measurement equation, which literally indicates and tells you that there's one stationary receiver and one that's in motion, and the stationary is preferential. Every time they go to test it, receives the signal first. So that's where that conclusion is coming from, not from something people made up or misinterpreted.
Of the Seismic effect, because it's not the light that is changing speed, it's the path that light is traveling is changing its distance. That's what the Seismic effect is talking about, and it's how fiber optic gyroscopes work.
So this particular one is not the Seismic effect.
Oh well, apparently what Alan was talking about was the Seismic effect.
Yeah, it was mentioned, but it's not related to the specific example I was just bringing up. This is just satellite receivers in the coordinate system.
Yeah, and none of this is an issue for the globe. That's what I'm saying.
Craig, I love the confidence with which you say that to arguments you haven't heard before. Honestly,
well, I know that GPS has no issues for the globe. It's based on a globe. Everything about it, especially the relativity, is based on a globe. So that these things that you are highlighting, they are no problem because they're about a system that is based on the globe. It literally just comes from misunderstanding. Like everything that you guys say, absolutely everything is just misunderstandings. Everything that Whitsitt had ever said about relativity and Muggs and Morley and what Einstein said was misunderstandings of what was going on. Everything that you've said, Shane, about thanks Walter is a misunderstanding of what was going on. The problem is that you guys don't understand anything and come to your conclusions while still maintaining that misunderstanding. So your conclusion is going to be based on a misunderstanding.
You realize that this whole debate is like both sides are convinced the other side is brainwashed and in a cult and unreachable by logic and reason, right? Like that goes both ways. It's the weirdest debate.
But I'm actually the thing is that the Earth is reality. Like flat Earth is literally the dumbest thing ever thought of by humanity. Like I said at the beginning, it is the internet's pet rock. Like there's a reason that these debates on my channel have quotation marks in front of it, because I'm not debating with you guys. I know the Earth's a globe. I'm laughing at the stupidity of flat earthers, and it's as simple as that.
But you realize from the opposing position, we feel the same about the globe and the heliocentric stance and the nonsensical model that you guys think is science. Like we are just as amused.
Unfortunately, you have to remember how dumb the average person is. Then remember that
half of them are dumber than that. God damn it!
And flat earthers firmly lie in that dumber than that portion.
Well, Yeah,
I don't know though, man. Being bendy PSI makes a lot of sense.
You're not answering
to me,
anybody's
dude.
questions.
You're not really
bendy
answering.
PSI. Well, let's do bendy PSI, shall we? Let's do bendy PSI.
Let's handle the real stuff.
The gravity
well.
Right. Let's do bendy
volume
PSI.
Of gravity.
Yeah, volume of gravity isn't a question that makes any sense, so there's no need to answer questions that don't make sense.
No,
bendy
there
PSI,
is.
No, there's not.
It's
a question that doesn't make sense, so we've moved on from that.
What?
But bendy PSI is very, very easy. Ever heard of a tire?
Was not saying nah.
It's not nah. It's a question that doesn't make sense. The word the sentence volume of gravity is not something that makes any sense.
Hold on, hello? Hello? A tire is bendy rubber. That's called Firestone. We need to see you.
What's the PSI inside? What's inside a tire? What's inside a tire? Demok, what's inside a tire?
What you need to
Demok,
do,
what's
what you
inside a
need to do
tire?
is go to that fucking
Demok,
altimeter
Demok,
and
talking.
throw it down a hill
Right,
and
someone
show
mute
us
Demok, 'cause I'm trying
bendy
to talk.
fucking elevation.
Right,
Demok, you need to get.
Yeah, right. So
No,
Demok,
he's trying to describe his actual point. He's actually trying to tell you.
No, he's just shouting.
You need to be quiet.
He's just shouting. Right. So Demok, a tire has a curve. Inside of that tire, there is a PSI. Therefore, it is a bendy PSI. Don't be dumb.
Shit, he's right.
So you need a container in order to have bendy.
No,
Gravity's a pretty good container.
Tire.
Gravity's a
Yeah,
fantastic container.
Listen, shut the fuck up, retard. Can you shut the fuck
mute him
up,
again,
bitch?
please? Just mute him. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. You're not. Don't be calling names on Demok. You don't need to be doing that shit.
All right, D-Mock, stop calling people retards, man. I'm sorry.
Hey, Pat, how
Demok is
about
impossible
you?
to have a
How about
conversation
you talk
with.
to FTFE?
Fight the Flat Earth couldn't
tell
last
him-
2 waves of DMOC. It took two.
What's up?
DMOC came in 2 waves and he couldn't handle
Demok,
it. He only
Demok
lasted
isn't.
2 waves.
You do realize that Demok is just an AI that I programmed really badly, yeah?
No, you're not.
bendy
No,
PSI
it
No,
sounds
I'm
like
telling
it.
you, this isn't even a
It's a
joke,
tough
guys.
one,
This
dude.
isn't a
It's a
joke.
tough one.
Demok is literally an AI that I programmed. But the thing is, I'm not very good at programming AIs. That's why Demok is the way he is.
What's
He
ChatGPT
created-
say about bendy
So
PSI?
actually, you know what? Okay, if we're going at that route, I kind of agree with Craig. The whole volume of gravity thing
Makes zero sense.
That was a pretty good one. He never really danced. He danced everywhere.
Yeah, but I can't answer a question that doesn't make sense.
You couldn't measure the total force of gravity on Earth. That's crazy.
I told you how to do that.
You couldn't measure all of it.
I told you how to do that.
Yeah. Not really.
You don't know the magic
I told you how to measure the gravity.
You don't have the magic
I've
number.
literally told you how to measure the gravity. It's not my fault if you didn't listen.
Coulda, shoulda. You didn't. You didn't tell me how much gravity there was.
I don't have the figures. I'm sorry. Do you want me to go and look it up? I can Google. I'm sure that you can Google as well.
You might humble yourself by looking it up. Yeah. Because it's probably one of those things you're going to want to know how much gravity we're talking about. If we're going to talk about gravity,
yeah, I know how to calculate it.
The
important thing is knowing how to figure these things out. Knowing the actual numbers, they're not that important.
I don't have to know it. I have to know somebody who knows it, and you're my guy. So if you
what you
should
do is learn how to figure it out.
No.
Yeah.
You're the guy that knows this stuff.
Yeah. Definitely learn
how
to
to figure it out. You're the guy that knows. I don't know anything, dude.
Yeah, and normally I charge £75 an hour for tuition. So right now you're getting.
I'm trying to educate you.
A lot of people
I'm trying to help you get an education right here.
No, I don't need. I'm the one with the education.
There's no excuse for your ignorance.
I'm the one
You have
with the
tools.
education. Sinclair's, I'm the one with the education. Not only that, but I'm the one that teaches other people. Again,
I'm challenging
I normally
you.
charge £75 an hour. Right now, you are getting me for free. This is a bargain.
I'm trying to challenge you to be a more inquisitive.
I would never pay you £75 an hour.
That's probably why you would never pass an exam.
Well, I do things for free.
No,
I'm doing this
I
for
probably
free.
would.
I don't
that's
get
a little
like I said, normally I would charge.
Pat
You're
or
getting it for free.
Synclines should be talking.
You got
Pat,
proof of
either
that
go on mic.
claim?
Do you want to go on and do the bendy PSI now, Pat?
Right, let's just get Pat
Or
on
do you
his
guys
own
cover
and,
that?
Yeah, just for the audience sake, though, Pat is a fake flat earther. He's LARPing.
Shut up. No, I'm not. You just stop
He
all that
absolutely
nonsense.
is.
I'm tired of these
is
ad
that my
hominem
Pat?
attacks towards me. I'm tired of these ad hominem attacks towards me with people with no proof of their claims. They just like to spew on. So you know what? I'll shut up while you guys argue. How about that? That sounds beautiful to me. and I will love my life.
Well, there's not really any
for
argument.
It.
He doesn't know.
Pat, are you the water mountain dude?
What the what?
Are you the water mountain dude?
Yes, I am. I am the water mountain man. I am.
Sorry, there's so many voices. I know which Pat you are now.
I know. I'm sorry, FTFE. I should have probably
That's all right, Pat.
clarified that sooner.
All right. Okay, I heard Riggs open his mouth. Has he got anything to say?
Yeah. Would you agree that the air in a tire is gradiated?
Would I agree that the air in a tire is gradient? There's a gradient.
Yeah. There would be a different pressure at the top compared to the bottom.
In general, yeah, the heat on the outside would change the pressure of the tire.
No, it has nothing to do with the physical enclosure. It has to do with the pressure of air
more
itself.
at the bottom than the top. And in general, any closed container actually has a higher PSI at the bottom than the top.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thanks.
And what's that got to do with anything?
That's the only question I had.
Why?
Sounds like you got a case of bendy PSI.
Well, it's not my show. That's the only question I had at the moment.
Yeah, why did you have that question? What's it in relation to?
So you're telling me there's a pressure gradient in a contained system?
Yeah. You can have a contained system on Earth and there will still be a pressure gradient with it being higher towards the ground because gravity's a thing. Amazing, right?
You said in a closed system?
Yeah. In a closed system or an open system, it doesn't matter. There's a higher PSI at the bottom.
What's the Earth? What's the Earth?
What's the Earth?
Yeah. What do you say the Earth is?
Third planet from the sun.
Now, is it an open system, closed system? What do you think?
Scientifically speaking, it's nearly a closed system.
How did you determine that?
Because the amount of matter and energy that leaves and enters is infinitesimally small, so Earth's classed as a closed system. Well,
but how did you prove that?
Closed
though?
system. I haven't.
How do you prove?
I haven't proved that myself. I've not been to space.
So, what would you call something like that? Is that a faith-based belief, or
no? It's something that other people have definitely, tested.
So you heard about it? Is that what you heard about it?
Are you committing the genetic fallacy?
No, I'm just asking why you're saying.
Sorry, are you committing the generic fallacy, or
I don't know why you're saying it. I'm just asking you why you're saying it.
Because it's a fact that people have tested.
And you believe it, right?
I don't have beliefs. I base my position on evidence and logic.
Well, if there's evidence that people told you this and you believed it because they told you, would you?
No, there's evidence that's been backed up by other people testing it and other people testing it.
So other people told you something and you did what? You believed it?
No, I
showed you.
I saw the evidence and I based my position on the evidence. Belief is irrelevant.
So you just accepted it.
I based my position on evidence.
And they provided the evidence and you accepted it.
Many people have tested and repeated it, and that makes it viable, and I accepted it because of that. I base my position on logic and evidence.
So because other people...
this isn't going to... How many times you repeat the question, it's not going to change. I base my position on logic and evidence.
I'm trying to figure out why. Why
because I base my position on logic and evidence. That is the answer.
Like
I don't have a belief. I base my position on logic and evidence.
Okay,
I don't know why this is so hard for you to accept.
That comes from somebody, right?
So are the other
evidence always comes from somebody, yes. Evidence is generally got by people, yes.
So why can't you just say, yeah, somebody told me about it and I accept it? Why is that so weird?
I did. They showed me the evidence and I based my position on the evidence.
And you were sold.
Repeated by many people.
You said
yeah, because there's lots and lots and lots of evidence to back up that position, yes.
Are the other planets enclosed as well, in enclosed systems too?
Planets with an atmosphere would generally be a closed system, practically a closed system is how we would describe them in science, because there's no absolutes. So any body that has a minimal amount of matter, exit it or leave it, so small that it's kind of irrelevant, would be classed as a practically closed system.
So these planets are similar in the way that they're also enclosed systems. And then
not enclosed. Don't get the words wrong. It's not an enclosed system. It's a closed system.
Sorry about that. In a closed system, yes. The other planets are as well, but they don't have enough atmosphere to make like the trees, water, and people like we have. But we are considering them the same thing as Earth still.
Yeah, in the fact that they are a closed. I mean, Venus has an atmosphere, right? We know that, and we know that some meteorites hit Venus every now and then. But like Earth, the amount of energy and matter, the amount of matter that leaves and exits Venus in total is so small that it's practically a closed system. But Mercury, it doesn't really have an atmosphere like that. It's still the same. The amount of matter that leaves and exits the system of Mercury is so small.
So, like, to measure the atmosphere on Earth, we could, like, use barometric pressure. Is that what they did on Venus?
I'm not sure how they initially measured the pressure on Venus. I know they've sent probes there that would probably have barometric measurements on them.
Okay, yeah. I guess what I'm getting confused on is you said Earth is a planet like those ones in the sky, but it looks like way different, huh?
Well, all the planets look different. None of them look exactly the same.
Well, like, most of them don't have water, right?
Some have ice water. I mean, there's ice water on the poles of Mars. There's
ice water on Mars? Okay.
Yeah, the poles of Mars contain quite a lot of ice water, actually. Have you not seen?
So is there,
have you not seen? What's that movie? With Arnold Schwarzenegger and the three boobied girl.
What kind of water is it? Is it the H2O kind here?
It's
Fifth Element.
Fifth Element. No, that's not Fifth Element. What movie am I fucking talking about?
Total Recall.
Total Recall. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Have you seen Total Recall, where they they melt the ice in the poles at the end to make the atmosphere? Obviously, that's not how it would work, but there's ice water on Mars. Yeah.
Okay, there's ice water on Mars because of Total Recall. Got it.
Well, no. Total Recall. Total Recall did that part because there's ice water on Mars.
Yeah. Hollywood's telling us the truth for sure. So, anyways, what I wanted to know about these planets, I'm just wondering. I thought the definition of a planet means like something that orbits the sun, right?
No, the definition of a planet is something that clears its local orbit, which is why Pluto is no longer classed as a planet.
Okay, clears its local orbit, and the Earth is orbiting what?
The sun.
The sun?
Yes.
I haven't seen that happen.
You haven't seen the Earth orbit the sun?
No.
Yeah, I've never seen that either.
That's weird. From the surface
like
of the Earth.
Those other
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. From the surface of the Earth, what do you think orbiting the sun would look like?
Well, I don't know if you would be able to determine it from the surface of the Earth. That's why I was asking. Like,
why not? Why would you not be able to determine it from the surface of the Earth? Just imagine yourself. This might take some three-dimensional thinking, right? But
why would I not be able to determine it? Because of the theory of relativity.
I'm in the middle. I'm literally in the middle of talking. Strange. I was literally in the middle of talking, right? So just work with me for a second. It might take some three-dimensional thinking, but imagine a big ball in space, or just imagine a massive ball, all right? Then imagine a smaller ball, quite a distance away from it, right? Now imagine you on that smaller ball, looking at the bigger ball. Now imagine that smaller ball going around the bigger ball whilst you're looking at it. What's it going to look like? Now,
I don't think it'll look that crazy. Doesn't it take a year for that to happen? So
add into that the ball that you're standing on is rotating around its own axis. Now, imagine that, and what do you think it would look like from that perspective?
Dude, to imagine all of that, and then to say what it would look like from that perspective.
I'm doing it in my head right now. Hold on, let me do it. It's very easy. You just do one thing.
It takes a whole year.
Yes, it does take a whole year, but now just speed it up in your head. Can you do that?
No, I can't do that. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Is three-dimensional thinking too hard for you?
No, what three-dimensional thinking? I don't know, man. I'm not like trying to think any certain way.
Oh, there's the problem. You're not trying to think. That I've got to the root of it. That you're not trying to think. That's why you're a flat earther.
Hey,
dude, you literally just said, just imagine. Just imagine. Like, just imagine.
Yeah. It's all
just,
an imagination.
Just imagine. Like, dude, just for
I get it. I get we can imagine all that.
Yeah, and now what you do is you imagine what it would look like and compare it to reality.
Why doesn't someone just like go to like the moon and show us.
We did that in the 60s.
At like 365 days, take a picture and show the Earth is revolving.
Oh, because
around
no one's been on the moon for 365 days.
Why not? You don't have a
Just
camera
imagine
up there?
that they have, though.
How long has the Mars rover been on Mars? How long has the Mars rover been on Mars?
Quite a long time, but that's not the moon, is it?
It's always irrelevant, right?
Couldn't you like take a picture from there and like
Dude,
a picture of what? What in particular would you like a picture of? Because they've taken pictures of nighttime on Mars. They've taken pictures of the sun being half hidden by the horizon on Mars.
I'd like 365 pictures, one each day, of showing the moon or the Earth go around the sun.
Why don't you build your own rover and send it to Mars, or maybe give that suggestion to NASA and see if they laugh you out the room or not?
Just do the impossible, bro. Just imagine.
These are riveting questions, by the way.
They're really not. This is just showing how
just
dumb
go do
flat
the
earthers
impossible.
are.
You can if you imagine.
Do you guys want to go back
Disney
to talking
sold us an
about
imagination, and these guys are true believers. Just
Do you guys-
imagine.
Do you want to go back to GPS and how that proves a flat Earth and stationary inertial frame? How you guys don't know what that means?
I mean, satellites disprove a flat Earth, so we'll get to that. I need to look into your argument.
Man, he can't even figure out that Earth is a planet. He hasn't even proved that to us yet. What is going on here?
How would I prove Earth's a planet? What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do to prove that Earth's a planet?
People, if you want to say this is a planet, I see people, trees, water, birds, tiger,
Yep,
bear.
they're all on the planet Earth.
All this shit. You don't see any of that when you look up in the sky at any of the other things.
Because we're the only planet with life on. Because as far as we know, we're the only planet in the solar system with life in.
Why are you determining this place is similar to those places when they don't look anything alike?
Oh, they do look very similar. They're big balls in space.
Balls of what?
Mostly rock, sometimes ice and gas.
Balls of rock and ice and gas can be floating above the ground.
Do you think this guy gets confused when he sees different species of dog?
I think so, yeah.
What do you
How
mean
can that be a dog? That one's got really
alike?
short legs. Dogs don't have short legs.
Wait, are you guys thinking that
Hey guys,
Mars
do you want to know
and
something exciting? Do you want to know
Earth?
something exciting? I'm getting a dog. I'm getting a puppy. I'm getting a border collie. Do you want to know what I'm calling it? I'm calling it Commander Riker.
What about the Third Reich?
I said I'm calling my dog Commander Riker. Of course I'm calling him Commander Riker. And all his commands are going to be like Star Trek based. You know, so it'd be like heal or, full stop instead of heal. Set a course if I want him to go somewhere. I'm going to be such a nerd.
Make it
my
so.
dog. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. I'm excited about getting a puppy.
Yeah, that lady just strawman the crap out of me, but cool, thanks.
In what way did I strawman you? I don't think you know what a strawman is, if I'm honest.
That lady
did you just strawman a strawman? Because flat earthers are quite good at doing that.
Simplified my argument to different dogs are like planets, bro.
Yeah, that's not a strawman. Well done.
Yeah,
I really would like to congratulate
the argument to make it easy to attack.
I would really like. I would very much like to congratulate you on strawmanning a strawman. Well done. It's impressive when flat earthers do that, I must admit.
Are you telling me that lady didn't simplify my argument in order to make it sound ridiculous and easy to attack?
That's not what a straw man is.
No?
No. A straw man is when you bring up a different thing instead of the actual thing and attack that instead of the actual argument.
Yeah, because dogs and planets are so similar, right?
Similar in the fact that there is lots of dogs that look very different, just like there's lots of planets that look very different. Who was that?
You can't prove bendy PSI, bro. Just admit
Tires. Tires have bendy PSI. Boom. Is that it?
The best of the best. Featured here.
You know why you don't want to hear Debunk? Because he would
he's an AI that I created, and I'm kind of annoyed by it.
He would absolutely dismantle you.
I tried to write a decent AI. But I don't know what I did. I think maybe in the stack request, I didn't put the correct table connections, and there only seems to be 4 or 5 actual responses that come back.
Are you prepared to face him like a man?
Well, he's not a man. He's an AI.
No, he's
Well, I wouldn't say an artificial intelligence.
He's
I'd
like
say an
the Globe
artificial
Earth Terminator.
non-intelligence.
He's like the QE.
QE
on steroids. This guy, you're not going to be able to debate this guy.
Moron.
With an ugly
Are you ready to
and a big
debate the
butt
mock?
and my butt.
So is that the end of all the other flat earthers?
I'm an idiot.
Now it's just sick to
I think we got one more gladiator in the fucking
Not
arena
unless,
here.
not unless you want to talk
guys-
about GPS with our buddy Alan here.
Yeah, if you wanted to revisit GPS, I'm actually the one that made the argument or whatever. So if you have any questions or clarifications, we can revisit it now, or you can come back to it at a later time. Just let me know.
I'd probably best if I looked up the argument first.
Okay, yeah.
Let
me send you a
do you maybe want to give him a good understanding of it, or do you think you could do that in a short amount of time?
No, I find when flat earthers explain things to me, it makes them more complicated. So I'd rather just read the stuff, to be honest.
Okay, sure. I'll send you the sources, and you can just decipher it, and then we can converse at a later
how
time.
the global positioning system shows that the Earth's flat. That's amazing.
Sure.
Yeah,
it doesn't, in the slightest.
Is that?
Just as professional courtesy, because this is going to be coming around probably in a while, you might want to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I like to learn the arguments and understand where the flat earthers don't understand things, because the hardest thing about debating flat earthers is figuring out the things they don't understand, so that you can actually understand their arguments. So it's best if I just
the inherent globularity in this one is strong. Cog dis never looked so painful.
Sorry, you're in there.
Yeah, flat earthers literally are cognitive dissonance embodied.
Cool. So I sent you the references there in the open chat, so you can check those out. And then
just 2 secs. Let me download this to my PC.
What are your questions about GPS?
Nothing, Tony. Be quiet.
Oh no, I'll tell you what. Actually,
how
about I take a back seat for a few minutes and let PhD Tony have a discussion with GPS. Maybe you can try and explain your position to Tony.
Okay, sounds good, man.
Hey Tony, how you doing? First of all,
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm not doing bad, mate. Not doing bad. I'm excited about getting a little puppy soon.
Yeah, excellent.
Tony's a flat earther, dude.
Tony, this is a gentleman called Alan who says that GPS proves flat Earth. Over to you.
I say that GPS proves that there is a varying speed of light, and that proves that there is an ether, because the GPS works off a preferred direction, or a preferred accounting for that preferred direction and the speed of light. So that's actually the argument there.
Well, that's babbling nonsense. So,
I see.
Okay, so the you have misinterpreted the argument about GPS. There is an argument that GPS can be used to establish the one-way speed of light, and it can't, because the nature is that time can vary in such a way that things that look simultaneous or look to be separated in time actually aren't. So we cannot use GPS to determine the one-way speed of light. GPS would work just fine if there were a preferred direction in which light varied, in which the speed of light varied. So the speed of light could be this is the old thing about the one-way speed of light versus the two-way speed of light. GPS works on the two-way speed of light. It doesn't rely on the one-way speed of light. But that being said, that in no way permits the positions that have been determined using GPS could be flat. Nor does it suggest that an ether could exist. The two-way, the fact that it is possible that there may be a distinction in, that the speed of light may be anisotropic, doesn't mean that you've demonstrated that it is anisotropic, and you need that demonstration before you can go that there exists an ether.
Brilliant. If I could just, on the back of that, just give you a little thought experiment to kind of back up what Tony said, right? And it's a very simple thought experiment, okay? imagine that you're sitting at a train station, okay, and you see a train in front of you going past, and it's going past faster than you've ever seen a train go past, right? And in the distance behind that train, right, there's 2 strikes of lightning that hit at the same time. One slightly to your left, one slightly to your right. From your point of view, that lightning, both strikes are exactly the same time, right? Now, I want you to place yourself on that train that's traveling in front of that person to the right at a really fast speed, right? And as the person reaches the same point as the person on the station and sees those lightning strikes, for the person on the train, those lightning strikes are not going to be happening at the same time. For the person on the train, those lightning strikes are going to be happening. He'll see the one that he's moving towards first, and he'll see the one that he's moving away from after. Because time isn't absolute. There, 2 people can experience the same thing in different ways at different times. The person on the platform experienced those 2 lightning strikes hitting at exactly the same time. But the person on the train experienced those 2 lightning strikes happening at different times. That doesn't mean that it did. And do you see how that relates to what Tony just explained?
So, yes, GPS explicitly violates that because it does that. The way that it works off of its timing system, everything, all the multiple events happen in the same reference frame relative to other reference frame, and the accuracy of it explicitly depends on that. So times of transmission and times of reception are all happening or can all happen simultaneously in the same event for multiple users all around the world, while lightning is actually striking all around the world as well for different people. So it actually violates that to a degree that they say that they make a special case for GPS, and they say that, well, trust us, this is just a local effect, but in all other reference frames, everything else still applies.
Tony?
I think
if you would like to hear the entire full presentation to get caught up to speed on why your lightning train argument is invalidated by GPS, I highly recommend you familiarize yourself with the material. Otherwise, we're just going to be listening to you guys talk about a lot of stuff for a long time. That's completely invalidated.
But your claim is that GPS has been used to determine the one-way speed of light, and that the one-way speed of light varies.
Not even just GPS. So my boy here, Wang, also linear Seismic effect. So instead of using a circular rotating device, he did a straight device on a conveyor belt. So I'll send you that paper as well. So they're outside of even GPS. I'm just using this for.
So
yeah. Okay, buddy. It's explicitly that. Maybe you should look into it. Because he can actually hold on a second, bud. Because he actually derives the circular Seismic effect from this effect as well. So this takes us back to Galilean relativity, where there's an absolute reference frame, which
there isn't an absolute reference frame.
Without. Yeah, so if that were true, then there wouldn't be a varying speed in GPS and how it calculates it.
That's the thing. All the calculations that the satellites do take into account the fact that they're moving at different speeds and stuff. There is no varying speed of light for the GPS.
Are you familiar with the range measurement equation and how that works with GPS?
I have to look it up, but I know for a fact that it doesn't show that there's a varying speed of light.
It explicitly doesn't if it doesn't account for that varying speed.
There's no way that it shows that there's a varying speed of light. That can't be included in the equation. It would invalidate it.
Well, if you interrupt me before I can finish explaining it, you'll never get to know, will you?
Well, you're not explaining it very well. Like, this is all coming from you not understanding any of the underlying technology, like I said.
Okay. Can you give me permission to do a presentation?
Not right now. I'd rather look up the information because presentations by flat earthers are normally boring and stupid.
I'd like to address this. I'd like to address this. The material that you're presenting, right, from Physics Essays, right? This is a journal that also publishes parapsychology results.
The original publication
The original
was
publication
published in an international conference for the Committee for International Radio Waves, whatever it's called. It's some big convention for satellite GPS stuff. Like, if you want to attack it from that end and just undermine it from that, so that you want to attack the actual argument, that's fine.
You're interrupting me, and you yourself were unhappy about being interrupted. So maybe let me talk.
I apologize. Continue, please.
Physics Essays is not a reputable journal, and publishing something at a conference, young Earth creationists get to present at the AGU fall meeting. That's not because anybody thinks that young Earth creationism has any scientific validity, because you can, the idea of conferences is to present work that isn't yet published and hasn't yet been past peer review. So what your guy is presenting here is stuff that really isn't approved of by any other scientist, by a sufficient number of scientists to be accepted as scientifically valid. So while he does have a publication, the publication in particular, the Physics Essays, is accused of just publishing things if people pay for it. So if somebody throws money at the journal, they will publish it in there. It is a trap that you can fall into of accepting that just because something has been presented at a conference or just because something has been published in a particular journal without looking into the credentials of the journal, that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that it's valid. It doesn't mean that it's made it past peer review. Quite frankly, this result, if it were established, would be in Nature or Science, because it shatters physics as we understand it. And it isn't. It's some guy writing essays because he's a bit bonkers.
Well, you really extrapolated a lot from not reading it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
hearing the argument out. So that's very nice. So you said you're a PhD in the academics. What did you major in?
Geophysics.
What kind? Like any specific field?
Yes, glacial isostatic adjustment. And at the moment, I work on developing satellite orbits so that Earth's gravitational field can be used to identify subsurface mineral deposits.
I think he was probably asking about the thesis.
And
yeah, what was your thesis in? Can I read where your thesis was published?
You can, if I'm willing to dox myself in front of you all, sure. But my...
So you're willing to call out other people's published work while you hide behind anonymity? Nice.
I'm not introducing my research as evidence that all of science is wrong, am I?
You're using your credentials to bolster your
prestige. I am using so you, and again you interrupted me while I was speaking. The group that I work on analyzes GPS orbits and has written its own code to analyze GPS data with sufficient accuracy that we can determine the motion of crustal plates. I myself did not write that code, but I have used that code, and I have been on GPS surveys. And this is, I was just thinking, this is actually fundamental to the entire argument. You are accusing me of lying, in essence, flat earthers will often do that because if they need to lie in order to bolster their arguments, they would do so unrepentantly. But actually,
lying about what?
Anything that's convenient to them. They will lie about. Whether
Have I lied to you?
No, you haven't.
All right.
but the
yeah, I've just debunked that. That wasn't hard.
So my people have talked about my thesis. My thesis contains an analysis of flat Earth seismic models, and my role there was to adapt them so that they could consider a flat viscoelastic layered viscoelastic body and calculate the surface deformation after a change in surface load. That was a major component of my thesis, which is why a lot of people call me a flat earther. But I can tell you that flat Earth seismic models become inaccurate beyond about 180 kilometers.
Amazing.
So you can treat the Earth as flat, seismologically speaking, for up to 180 kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah, and we know the Earth's not just 180 kilometers wrong, so it has to be long. So it has to be wrong.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, Alan, so you're saying that the range measurement equation shows there's a variable speed of light?
Yeah, it's the same equation that they use for...
That's just not right in this.
And nobody says that sound waves propagate at a finite speed, so... Anyway...
Well, sound waves propagate based on
anyway, I recommend that you familiarize yourself with the argument. Interest. You don't say. You should look into the similarities in that equation with GPS then.
Sorry, the similarities in what? What should I look at the similarities between?
Was I lagging? I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. What should I look at the similarities between?
GPS the cause of the varying speed, a medium. And the why the accuracy of that equation and how it applies.
Travel. Light's a self-propagating wave of electromagnetic energy. It doesn't need a medium to travel. This is
the GPS. It's literally so we're told. So the varying speed of light is measured within that equation.
Actually, showed that conclusively. But the range measurements for GPS or any other similar system.
Well, you said you didn't want to get into a presentation.
I was talking amazing. The range measurements equation for GPS or any other similar systems based on the principles of radio wave propagation and light speed do not show a variable speed of light. The speed of light is considered a constant for the range measurements in GPS. So I don't understand how you could say they're considered a constant, how they're variable, if for the range measurements they're considered a constant, and that's coming from NASA.
Do you know how the range measurement equation works and how GPS is a time interval system? Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, distance equals the speed of light times the time delay of the signal, yeah.
No, it's this, dog. So it's the...
and that is what the range measurement equation is. The range measurement equation works out to be the speed of light times the time delay of the signal.
Okay, yeah, that is a good summary, but...
Yeah, it's a very good summary
that time delay shows the varying speed.
Hold on, it's a very good summary because my knowledge in physics allowed me to look at that equation and do about 2 minutes of research and figure out that no, in no way at all does that equation show that there's a variable speed of light. In the slightest.
It
explicitly shows it.
No,
then they have to reaccount for it.
Explicitly it shows that there is not a variable speed of light.
And it's amazing.
It's amazing that you have got it so backwards. Like it's a fundamental misunderstanding of everything that is being shown in that paper. It's incredible that it literally took me 2 minutes to look at some of the things in there, use my knowledge of physics, and go, this guy's no fucking idea what he's on about. I could conclusively debunk it given some time. Right now, I don't exactly want to go through a massive list of all the problems because there's so many problems with what you've suggested that it's completely ridiculous. There is absolutely no way at all that you can determine that the range measurement shows conclusively that there is a variable speed of light. For GPS calculations, C is considered a constant.
You've looked at this for 2 minutes?
It explicitly accounts for it, and they attribute it to Earth rotation.
Not the speed of light, the distance that the light has to travel. That is different to the speed of light.
Can I have a conversation here, Craig? I think you're being a bit unfair in accusing Alan of coming up with this idea when he has read somebody else's paper.
He's the one who's bringing it, though. So I mean, I can only go with the person that brought it to me.
Well, you can do that, but the person who is bringing it to you is bringing it to you in good faith, and somebody who is literate in this field and has any understanding of the physics involved can immediately deconstruct this argument.
Yeah.
And that's true. But that, and my advice, Alan, is if you don't believe us, take these papers down to your local university, your local physics department, and ask them if these are valid results.
On the back of that, Alan, I apologize for attacking you for being wrong. You have just repeated somebody else that is wrong. That's not your fault. Maybe you should have looked into it more instead of just taking that as fact and not actually checking anything out. Maybe a bit of research into the subject would have helped you before believing some crackpot that thinks he knows what.
Well, you do it all the time. You do it all the time. So.
No, I've tested things that I say.
Developers literally do this all the time. So
no, I've tested things that I say. So
Can I say again? It is certainly the case that many proponents of the globe make arguments that are incorrect and take people's word for stuff that turns out to not be accurate. So this is not and there have been cases in my past where I've assumed things and come to things and I've been wrong. And I didn't think to check them until somebody pulled me up on it. And that's fine. That's not a mortal sin. Everybody can be wrong. And that's great. There's no shame in admitting that you made a mistake or that you should have perhaps looked into something more, or that this. You don't get smarter, but you get better informed by learning from your mistakes. And I think this guy, the Stefan Gift, he's obviously got a bee in his bonnet. I notice he's a professor emeritus. Which is usually a position where you're quite old. I don't know that much about the University of the West Indies. I can't look into the institution that much, but I've never met anybody from the University of the West Indies. But I've attended international conferences on GPS and geodesy. So this guy. This guy is unfortunately publishing stuff that looks, and he's taking every trouble to try and make it look reputable. But the sad fact is it just isn't.
The amount of arrogance is just disgusting.
Yeah, are you saying you're smarter than this guy?
Just to dismiss everything. Any way I can dismiss the whole argument, then I don't have to deal with it or look into it or understand it.
I would like to. Not like a big deal. I'd like to deconstruct that a little bit. Okay, I'm not saying I'm smarter than this guy. What I'm saying is this guy is not smarter than the rest of science. And those are different things.
But that's your whole same argument for not talking to flat earthers. Understanding any arguments that we make or listening to the things we say, you just wait for us to finish so you can say your next thing, right?
Hey,
it's like Shane, the whole thing.
Shane, you do realize that one-way speed of light is not the same as variable speed of light, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm just looking through the paper that was in there, right, and pulling out the keywords that we were talking about.
Right, anyway, I need to address something that's been going on in the chat. I see old liar Gleam there, who is attacking me personally. Someone said to Gleam that, no, what Craig said is that he has his education that allows him to look at the paper and see the equations meant at a glance. And Gleam, because he's a dumbass flat earther, whether he says he is or not, Gleam responded, bullshit, Craig's not qualified. I know this is a fact. He knows I know too, as he was trained in Gosport, my hometown, where there is no nuclear schools. Ha 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 ha. Gleam, you're a fucking idiot. HMS Sultan, which is in Gosport, has the Rutherford Centre, which is the largest nuclear training school in the United Kingdom. Not only that, but is the centre for nuclear training that is used by most of the European military powers. So to say there is no nuclear school in Gosport makes you as dumb as you fucking look. Don't ever try and attack me personally and say that I'm lying about where I got my education. I lived in Sultan for years whilst I went to that nuclear school, Rutherford Centre in HMS Sultan. Don't fucking say that again, you piece of shit.
Yeah, but there's no requirement that we believe you. right?
I don't care if you believe me or not. I am responding to the fact that Gleam says there's no nuclear school in Gosport when it in fact contains one of the largest nuclear training facilities in Europe.
This again, but what you just did was confirm my earlier point. My earlier point was that flat earthers will routinely and quite casually accuse people of lying. And I guess they must in order to buttress their worldview. But it seems a very isolated way to go through life to assume that everybody, millions of people, literally millions of people, are willing to just lie to your face.
Why must every single thing you say be an absurd, retarded straw man?
In what sense?
No, that's just Shane pressing buttons because he thinks he's funny.
Yeah, please don't use the soundboard.
Yeah. Again, another response to Gleam, who posted a summit on Twitter saying that, no, I lie because I called him a virgin and said he doesn't have any kids. No, I wasn't lying. I was joking and mocking you. Maybe you are... Gleam, are you so, dumb that you can't tell the difference between a joke and a lie? I know you're not a fucking virgin. Of course you're not a fucking virgin. You've got kids.
He was joking in the chat with you about the nuclear stuff.
No, yeah, and it doesn't take a sense of intelligence. That takes a sense of humor.
Can I cut in for a second? Thank you for your time, gentlemen. I'm going to head out.
I just want to point out that Gleam is lying and doesn't know the difference between a joke and a lie.
Sorry, who has to head out?
Alan.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, thank you for... he's already gone. Sorry, well, I was about to thank him for the conversation. I kind of think that there's a... look
at Gleam changing the subject because he can't get out the fact that he just lied about what's in Gosport.
Gleam has a serious mental health issue.
I am aware.
But he just delights in getting negative attention and persistently getting negative attention. He'll do anything to get negative attention and to start an argument. And I think
just a quick question: do you know that for a fact that he has a mental health issue, or are you just talking shit?
Yeah, we've talked to him enough to realize that he's got a mental health issue.
My encounters with Gleam have brought this inherently to my attention.
That's a pretty big accusation. I don't know if you want to be making public.
No, it's an observation.
I'd be really careful of.
It's an observation. I'll say it here, and someone can try and sue me if they want. Gleam, who is a flat earther, has a mental health issue. This is a fact.
So the point that I would just to return to the central point. Look, if you have questions about science, if this Stefan Gift guy has questions about science, there are ways to get published, and it can feel like there's censorship because you can't get past peer review. And indeed, for 10 years, my group couldn't publish anything on our satellite analyses. Eventually, we had to get a group. Nobody believed that we could do what we were saying we were doing, and the reviewers would just say anybody who knows anything about this mission knows that you can't do that. And eventually, we had to get the guy who designed the satellite mission to visit our group for 3 months, look at what we were doing, go back to his group and try and do the same thing and get the same results. And that was the necessary step in order to get the rest of the community to believe that our results were right. But until that happened, people just batted our papers back at us and just said that what you're claiming here can't happen. So we're just not going to publish it. And it's so it can seem like censorship, but there's a reason scientific literature is so conservative. It's to stop the propagation of faulty science, and it isn't perfect. It's there are admittedly failures, both where shabby work does get published, shabby unsubstantiated work that later has to be retracted does get published. But it's better than a free-for-all where nobody checks anybody else's work. peer review is essential. You have to have your results checked by somebody else. Otherwise, you could disappear up your own ass in delusion if you're just publishing stuff because you think it's right, but everybody else is telling you that's a fantasy.
Okay, but you just admitted that the peer review shuts you guys down for whatever reasons, but don't you think that is kind of a like how can I put this, like without saying the infamous leader's name who did very bad things a while ago, it's a little bit what's the word I'm looking for without
propagandist or
Larian?
No, more a little more along the lines of like when there's a country being ran by a dictator and like whatever they say goes. I guess communism.
Authoritarian,
right?
dictatorial.
There you go. Yeah. The kind of like the. I just didn't want to go down certain roads because I know it's a YouTube thing. But
okay. Well,
sorry,
I would.
Sorry, I need to call out Gleam again because he's just straight up lying now. He's now admitting that no, there is a Rutherford Center, but he says Rutherford doesn't have any nuke capabilities. It's all simulators. I have been there, Craigie boy. Well, I guarantee you've not been into the Rutherford Center because you need clearance for that, and you would never have the clearance. And I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. There is a literal working model of a nuclear reactor in the Rutherford Center. It is the biggest military nuclear training facility in Europe. Gleam, please answer this question directly. Why did you lie about there being nuclear training facility in Gosport, the place where you live? Answer the question. Why did you lie?
Well, while he's typing that out, I would answer to Apocryphon. The distinction is that there's no single person making the argument about what does and doesn't get published. And indeed, I've suffered multiple times. There's a bit of a prick who works in the same discipline that I do, who made it onto the IPCC, and my group's papers just never got referenced by the IPCC. He liked to pretend that we didn't exist. But generally in science, it's your peers, and when you submit a paper, you can say, are there any people you don't want to review this? Are there any people you think will just be deliberately unfair on what you're publishing? And you can say, well, this guy hates me on a personal level and hates my work, so don't get him to review it. And you can list people. You can list the people you think should review your work, and you can list people who definitely shouldn't get to review your work. So you can, on the other hand, there should be independent reviewers, and that's the editor's job, is to find people who are appropriately qualified, but will be fair in their assessment of the work. And I'm going to admit the system isn't perfect. You can come up with instances of grotesque abuse where people have managed to just absolutely make shit up and commit fraud. To the extent that one guy had his PhD ripped off him, even though there's no indication that he cheated in order to get his PhD, but his subsequent papers was so egregious that his PhD was ripped off him. So I will admit that there are problems, and I will admit that when you look at a given scientific paper, you need to ask questions about it, and you need to be critical. You don't need to just accept that it's true. What you've got to do is sort of step back and look at science as a whole. Look at the entirety of the field and say, okay, here's the position of lots of different authors, lots of different people, and they all validate one another. Now, that doesn't mean that they're all right, but it means that's the best understanding we have on the current evidence. And new evidence may come along that will cause us to shift, but for the moment, this is the best understanding that we have.
So in a world where, the things that we point out because they're just not making logical sense. But somehow, because everybody has reviewed this, even though they technically kind of haven't reviewed certain things, because there's just some things you can't duplicate or in an experiment, or you can't you can't falsify it or prove it, those sort of deals. Like, if we live in a world where there's just this stamp that's going on paper, on these things that you're saying that can get peer reviewed, once they get peer reviewed by the system itself and they get the okay, and then all of a sudden it's almost like it's written in stone. So then when someone else is like, hey, that doesn't make sense, and they're like, oh, no, it was peer reviewed, so it's good to go. In your world, you could just be like, no, that's not true. We do our due diligence, but you just said, like, there's people that there's a bias. So how do you get around that?
So the first error in here is that it's peer reviewed, therefore it's set in stone. No.
I said once it gets peer reviewed and then it gets stamped. Like, okay, yeah, it's good.
No,
once it gets that okay, if you will.
A paper can be stamped and peer reviewed and everything, and then later be shown to be completely wrong. This happens. And this is because there are a variety of scientific papers. There are scientific papers that are completely hypothetical, and they lay out the physics. Maybe it works this way, and here's the physics of it, and here are the equations, and that sort of thing. And the value of those papers is that they may ultimately give us something that we can check observationally. That's the purpose of that style of paper. But their entire proposal may be completely wrong once we get the observations. Once we get the observational data, the stuff that they're proposing may be junk. So just because something is published, and this is a mistake that a lot of people make when looking at scientific literature. They will read sort of people's opinions, people's suggestions over what might be true, and say, well, a scientist wrote it, therefore it must be true. No, it remains an opinion until there is observational data. Observational data is king. So just because it's peer-reviewed, just because it got published, if later observational data becomes available that says, well, that's wrong, then the observational data rules. And observational data itself is subject to observational error or observational uncertainty. There may be errors in the experimental setup that have contaminated the result and made it so that the result is misleading. There may have been some error in the analysis of the variables. There are a number of ways in which an experiment with quantitative results might have been mishandled. And it is not the case. Everybody thinks that when Cavendish did his experiment, that was it. Nobody bothered to check whether or not mass attracts mass. And I can easily find 20 papers that have investigated the same thing. Does mass attract mass? The most recent of which, I can find 5 in the last 2 years of people investigating whether or not mass attracts mass. And I can find many more trying to work out the gravitational constant that determines the gravitational acceleration. These experiments, somebody will come up with another variation on it. Does Newton's law apply just the same if both masses are accelerating? If we accelerate them with respect to one another, does Newton's law still hold? Does it hold over 1 micrometer separation? Does it hold over 1 meter? Does it hold over 100 meters? They're exploring different length scales, different experimental setups, different apparatuses, because they're trying to look for where it doesn't work. They're trying to find something new. They want to find some new data that sort of contradicts what we have previously.
Okay, so then if the findings that you're saying that they're trying to test out, if we're trying to point out that a lot of these things that have been quote unquote tested and proven, if we're trying to point out that, well, that all of it is a theory that they made mathematically, they made it a reality, so you can't really even disprove the falsehood to begin with, because it's designed. You can't disprove the model for a lack of better words, because go ahead. I mean, you talked for 5 minutes, but go ahead.
I hear a lot of people say that, but in general, the people who say that have no idea of how to do the mathematics.
Right. Hey, so thank you for that. Thank you for just saying like I'm just an idiot and you're the guy that knows how to do it. But let me just finish my point then.
No,
let me just finish my point. Hey, I'll tell you what, Tony. Let me just finish my point.
You were an idiot. No,
hey, Tony. Let me just finish. Tony, let me just finish.
I have to finish this. I did not say you were an idiot. I said
you said usually those that say that are the ones, and I just said that. So it's kind of like implying, just come on, dude. Don't be like that.
There's a difference. There's a difference between not knowing something and being an idiot. Okay.
Okay.
There's a difference between being ignorant or not having education. That if I studied history for a little bit, and I was using equations in my papers about propagation of stuff, and my history professor had no idea. That's not because he's an idiot. That's because he just doesn't know any mathematics. It's fine to not know mathematics. That doesn't make you an idiot. I just wanted to say that. Sorry.
Okay. Well, thank you for the clarification. But what I'm trying to point out though is that in a world where there is, first of all, you're born into this, and if you're smart enough, and if you have you could hear something, you could read something, and you retain it, and you could then memorize it. Then you can, and then all of a sudden you might be intelligent out of everybody, out of all your peers. So then you go off to some higher education, then you learn more, and all you're learning is the same things that everybody else before you has been learning for the past, however long that this has been going on. But eventually you're going to get to a point where everything you're being told, yeah, you're right, you can go out and test it yourself and do yourself if you have the the know-how and the wherewithal to even do it, or even sometimes the resources. So not everyone has the money to do some of the experiments, but ultimately, if you're still working within the confines of what has been accepted across the board as to what is scientifically been proven,
there's
and
no
what
such
is
thing
then
as scientific proof, bud.
Well, okay, so then it's not true that the Earth's a ball then, because there's no scientific proof, right? I mean, is that what you're saying?
No, there's just no. The concept of scientific proof isn't a thing. It doesn't exist. Science doesn't concern itself with proof, because science accepts the fact that we don't know everything, and that what we know now, we might find a better explanation tomorrow. This is a big misconception about what flat earthers think science is. There is no such thing as scientific proof. Science gives you evidence for something. There is no, just remember that. Don't ever talk about scientific proof. That is a concept that does not exist.
Okay, so then is it safe to say then that the Earth isn't scientifically proven to be a ball?
Because there's no such thing as scientific proof. Yes.
Okay, so well, I mean that's good to know, because there are some people that come in these Discord servers and will say, hey, we know it's a ball because we know how to science. We know science. We know how to do science.
Well, knowing something because of science is different from science proving things. We know that Earth is a globe because all the evidence from science suggests that to be the case. There is zero evidence to suggest anything else. But there just is no such thing as scientific proof. That as a concept does not exist.
If I could put it more formally correctly, all of the observational data that we have available to us is entirely consistent with a spheroidal Earth. And there's no data to the contrary that we have available to us at the moment. But carry on.
That's what you are believing.
No,
or
beliefs are irrelevant.
You say, hold on. You say, I don't have to believe. I know it to be true.
Again, beliefs are irrelevant. You should base your position on logic and evidence, and all of the evidence suggests the Earth is a globe. The Earth as a globe is an observed fact, as Professor Parks has just said. It's not a theory, it's an observed fact, backed up by so much scientific evidence. You know,
name one evidence. Name one evidence.
Measurements of Earth's rotation, measurements of Earth's curvature, measurements of Earth's gravity.
Wait, hold on.
All of the pictures,
hold on, Craig.
all of the videos.
Craig, I said name one, and so that way we can go through it. Don't spew off the 15 different, bullet points you have.
Oh, no, let's go one by 15. There's so much. If you want to talk about
right. So let's just tackle one at a time.
Rotation.
Okay, so let's tackle one at a time.
Right,
go ahead.
Tony wants to finish his point, and then we'll get onto that.
Okay.
All right. I have 2 points to make. A, Earth's motion, Earth's rotation, irrelevant to its shape. The existence of gravity, irrelevant to its shape. So we should be focused. Let's narrow the conversation down to Earth's shape. The first evidence.
I would disagree that the rotation can't show Earth's shape when you take into the fact things like Coriolis, forces being applied to pendulums.
I would go rather
that Earth is a globe, right?
It does suggest, and it is entirely consistent. But I would suggest that you're introducing two pillars here. You're introducing the Earth's shape, and you're introducing the Earth's motion. And I think that it would be safer, or logically, we want to keep this we want to break this down into small, easily understood, logical steps. And for me, the evidence that best establishes the sphericity of the Earth is the propagation of seismic surface waves and atmospheric pressure waves. These waves start from a focus at a point on Earth's surface. They radiate outwards from that point. They converge on a point on the opposite side of Earth, and then they return back to their focus point. And they can do this multiple times. For the Tonga volcanic eruption, the atmospheric pressure waves circled Earth for 72 hours, for more than 72 hours. In the case of Krakatoa, the timescale was approximately the same. And they went backwards and forwards across Earth 12 times.
I like how you said across. I love that.
So, but
just real quick. Hey, Tony, hold on, Tony, just real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, but I actually have to make a phone call right now. And Craig, I definitely want to go one by one with you. But let's save it for Friday.
On Friday, 100%.
Yeah, when you come to the asylum, we'll do it on Friday. Thanks a lot, Demon Stride, bro. I always appreciate you. I'm gonna put.
Thanks for coming, man.
No, yeah, for sure. I gotta make a phone call. I'll try to be fast, real quick, as I get off. I'll put a link for anybody that hasn't joined the asylum yet, or for anybody that wants to come over here and get the link. But we'll do it Friday, because also tomorrow we're gonna be talking to McToon. So feel free to come as well, Craig, if you want to or have the time, and everybody else.
That sounds fun.
Can I say it for fun? Can I just say,
go ahead.
Thank you for all the conversations I've had with you. You've been nothing but civil, and I really appreciate your.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, just thank you. Have a good day.
I just wanted to say that there's a link. There's a link for the asylum at the top of the Discord channel here. It's got all the partner channels linked in it.
The only true
FTFE's
asylum.
In there.
Right, so how about we get this back on track, and any other flat earthers in here, what you got for me?
All right, guys, have a good one.
Oh,
I'll be watching my phone and accepting everybody and welcoming them and stuff. To those that do, I got to get off of Discord and make a phone call, but I can still be verifying people and stuff. All right, you guys have a good one. Have fun.
Speak later, Apop.
Talk to you tomorrow. All right, bye.
All right, Gleam the lying flat earthers in the voice chat. That's nice, but I doubt he's going to speak up because he just say a bunch of lies. So, any flat earthers got anything for me?
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah, who am I speaking to?
My name's Tora, or you could call me Matt.
Hello, Matt. How are you?
Good, good. I talked with you a little bit ago about the planet.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask about: is there more refraction in like a humid environment or a clear, non-humid environment, or does that even have an effect on refraction at all?
A more humid environment is going to have like more water droplets and stuff in the air, which kind of affect what you see. But refraction is generally affected by things like pressure and temperature. A humid day will give other kind of weather effects, but I wouldn't.
Well, so humidity makes the air less dense,
when
right?
It's more humid, there's going to be less density and stuff. So yes, humidity will affect the refractive conditions because humidity comes along with other things like temperature and pressure changes.
So do you think there will be more refraction than on a humid day?
It depends on the other conditions as well, because you can get dry humidity and you can get wet humidity.
Isn't humidity the water content in the air?
Yeah, but I mean, have you ever heard of like the dry humidity? Honestly, that's a question I'm going to have to look into specifically for the answer regarding humidity. But maybe Tony could help me there.
Yeah. So the humidity has a surprising effect on air density. The more humid the conditions are, the lower air density, and that's because on a molecule of water vapor has less mass than either an oxygen molecule or a nitrogen molecule. So you're by making the air more humid, you're making it less dense, which
would
seems
reduce refraction, right? Reduce the amount of it would stop it looking as far. It would make it appear closer rather than further.
Yeah, that's right. So, so very humid conditions are associated with looming. I think like you can get sort of the opposite of the traditional sense of refraction in very
thermal inversions and stuff when it's extremely humid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
would that be like a sinking refraction instead of a looming refraction?
Sinking refraction. Don't bring that up.
So yes, but
sinking refraction.
Would the ocean like aid in like the humidity of the air since the observations are taking place?
Who is this Dalek that's trying to speak?
That's Sonar.
Well, his name is Sonar, and he's trying to sonar communicate, and it's difficult because of the curvature of the Earth.
Sonar curves is actually an interesting. Sonar curves. Did you know sonar curves because of the curve of the Earth and something called the sound channel? It's interesting how sonar actually curves around the surface of the Earth, thanks to the way that water works.
It's big talk for a guy who's never measured it.
Who cares if I personally measured it? That's the genetic fallacy.
I'll have to take that on faith.
I think a more helpful comment would be to point out to Sonar curves that his connection somehow he's coming across very robot-y and intermittent, and we're having difficulty interpreting what he's saying because he drops out sometimes during his sentences, and nobody's made that clear to Sonar curves, which I feel is a little unhelpful.
Sorry, I thought the Dalek comment would have done that.
Maybe he doesn't know what a Dalek is. We've got
Globers never really hear our questions. They never understand the questions anyways. So
we understand questions that make sense.
They're just gonna say we don't understand. And
if you ask a question that makes sense, then I'll answer it. But a question like "What is the volume of gravity?" makes no sense.
No.
Gravity
Did you not hear what? Hold on. Did you not hear what Sonar said?
No, we didn't hear what Sonar said.
Yeah, because you don't understand any of the flat Earth questions.
Why is he going to imply that I don't know what I'm talking about or I don't know what a dialect is? Like that's fucking like. But
I didn't say you don't know what a dialect is. Generally, we just cannot hear what you're saying very well, Sonar.
I said that you might not, and again, not knowing something is not the possibility that you might not know something is not intended as an insult, right? Everybody's leaping on me for saying that people might not know stuff or do not know stuff. Not knowing something, you might not know what a Dalek is. I only raised the possibility. I didn't say that it was demonstrably true. I said that it would be helpful to communicate directly to you what the problem we're having is, rather than sort of...
I know what the problem is. I have a bad connection, and again, it has nothing to do with knowing what a dialect is. So
Dalek, a Dalek, not a dialect, a Dalek. The battle bots created by Davros.
They had a submarine that blew up on the globe just recently because they don't understand that sonar. I don't know what their whole thing was, but...
Well, that was more to do with the fact that they thought a carbon fiber hull, a material not really known for its flexibility, would be a good idea to go down to 12,000 feet, with a porthole that was rated for only 4,000 feet. That was the problem there.
So people ask us, how do Globers fail this badly? I don't know how to explain, science to them, but this is where science fails, and...
Yeah, the problem was the CEO.
These guys trusted in science,
hold on, Syncleanser, hold on.
Because all their globe understanding mounted to their death.
Syncleanser, hold on. All of science told them not to go. Science said, "Don't do that. You will die." Science said, "No, that vessel is not suitable for what you want to do." Yeah, so science told them they shouldn't do that, and they still fucking did it.
How did they get approved then?
They didn't. They had no approval. They had no approval.
May I? So
they're not just out there for. They got international approval or something.
International waters. There's no. You don't need any of that.
Pirates everywhere. Yep.
They specifically did not get their apparatus approved, and they did not submit to any inspections or testing. They and this is the point that I was getting to earlier about the importance of peer review. You're right. It is insane for somebody to go out and do this without regulation, without approval. But they did it. They found a loophole in the laws while they were in international. As long as they were operating outside of any country, they didn't need to get regulatory approval for what they were doing.
But I just want to clarify, Tony. They were Globers, correct?
Very probably, yes.
Yeah, okay, that's irrelevant.
This guy, we actually know who the guy was. He tried to go to outer space. He's a guy who thought he could go to outer space on a, was it Amazon or what was it? Blue.
Yeah, what did he do? Syncleanser, I'm just going to stop this line of conversation. It doesn't matter if they were a Glober or not. The majority of the Earth are Globers, so the majority of things that happens are going to happen to Globers. There is a small subset of humanity with a very low IQ that we call flat earthers.
Okay.
But that's irrelevant. Anyway,
that's all rhetoric.
I was in the middle of a conversation with Tora, Matt, so and then we kind of got cut off. Matt, sorry, what were we talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about refraction, and then we kind of got to the point of saying it might do the opposite of looming in humid weather, correct?
Yeah, humid weather can do things like cause thermal inversions and stuff and change the refractive conditions from normal.
In specific, so humidity is one effect on the density of the air. The other one is temperature. So it's the combination of the two. So when you're trying to say humidity does this, you need to actually look at the combination of temperature and humidity. It's not a one variable system, okay?
I agree, definitely. I actually live in Florida, so it's pretty warm.
I'm very sorry for you.
The temperature outside and the temperature of the water that I do my observation over are very, very close in temperature. So I do this observation when it's cold and less humid, and then I do this observation when it's hot and real humid. And I was just wondering, you know how you said it has looming effects on a clear day, and then on a humid day it has anti-looming or whatever you want to call that. Has anyone measured that? Like how much light bend happens?
Yeah, refraction has been quantified quite substantially. I would suggest looking at the works of Andrew Thomas Young.
Well, there's a lot of work in surveying, trying to isolate trying to isolate the effects of refraction and quantify them as a function of temperature and humidity. So there's a substantial literature on how to do that.
Gotcha. So they have like measurements of the light bending. Like I do an observation of 14 miles, so they can like tell me exactly how much light curve I should see in that 14 miles.
Well, that's very simple. If you understand the fact that there's 69.1 statute miles to every degree, if you've got 14 miles, that would mean light would have to bend 15, 30, about 1/5 of a degree to allow that observation to be possible.
Okay, so the light bends up around and to my eye at that exact rate. So the interesting part is on
in that every 14 miles, the light would have to bend about 1/5 of a degree to go into your eye from the point that's 14 miles away.
Okay, I've never heard the anti-looming claim. Would that be on top of the curvature then? So I'll really see not that
refraction's always on top of curvature. You need to know what the curvature is and then apply the refractive conditions on top of that to understand how far you should be able to see at that particular point in time. Obviously, refractive conditions change constantly throughout the day. So the distance that you can see to the horizon constantly changes throughout the day. The distance that you can see it changes because the refractive conditions are changing as the water's getting hotter and colder, as it's raining, as it's snowing, as it's sunny, as it's humid, as it's not humid. All these things constantly change the refractive conditions and change the distance that you can apparently see. But none of that stops the Earth being a globe. All the
I get that.
Everything about refraction has been quantified and we understand it.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it simple by keeping it to the same location and everything, so that way we don't have to incorporate snowing. This is in South Florida.
Is there any way when you do your observations that you can take things like barometric pressure and stuff? Because that, if you say came to me with your barometric pressure at certain points along your observation, say the temperature on the day, then I could probably do the calculations to show you how much refraction is happening. Obviously, we would compare those things.
I quickly, somebody in the chat has shared a link to a refractive index calculator that will permit you to do this, and he directed it to Tora.
Thank you. You guys understand how it works, so I was just going to go over my observation with you and see if that all comports. So on cold, clear days, I can see the 14 miles shoreline to shoreline with like a mirror flash, so I know I'm definitely seeing that shoreline. And then on humid, hot days, I cannot see that far, and I get a very clear, like, sinking effect along the shoreline that I can tell for sure is going on.
Yeah, that's what we would expect to happen, yeah.
So on the hot, humid days, I'm seeing the Earth curve.
Well, you're always seeing the curve. If you can see the horizon, then you're seeing an effect of the curve of the Earth. But wherever that horizon is apparently going to change because you're looking through a medium. The Earth curve never changes; it's always there, and you can always see the things that you expect to see. But how far away they appear to be is going to change based on the refractive conditions.
Okay. So on the hot and humid day, would you say that's more of the accurate representation since I can't see as far? Or on the clear day that I could see to that shoreline, is that more accurate of a representation of the curve of the Earth?
I would say when you can't see as far is closer to the light following the arc of the curve of the Earth. When you can see further, then the other way around. When you can see further, the light is actually following the arc of the curve of the Earth a lot more. When you can't see as much, the light is being cut off by the horizon instead of following the arc because there's less refraction. Sorry, I said the wrong way around to start with. I apologize.
I would suggest that the critical function here is the density gradient about the density gradient in the air just above the water. And that density gradient can be large even if it's cold. If for instance, it was warm overnight, but massive cool air moves over in the morning, then the water can start losing heat very, very quickly. And
Yeah. I tried to say I'm in the subtropic area of Florida. We don't have that.
So okay, well, occasionally you can have eddies of cold water coming off the
Wait, do you live here or do I live here?
You live there.
Okay, thank you. All right, cool. I try to make sure I do it on days that the water temperature and air temperature are the same.
Yeah, okay. All right. Then
it's only a 14-mile distance. This is not that far. You know, it's like from one bridge to the next. You know what I mean?
Yep. Then I apologize for interpolating my opinion here. I'm going to have to go. Thank you very much for the discussion, Craig, and thank you, Tora.
No worries, Tony. Always a pleasure to speak to you, bud.
A pleasure to meet you.
PhD Tony.
Thanks, PhD Tony. Appreciate your help.
Bye.
All right, guys. I've got about 20 minutes, 30 minutes left before I gonna stop and read super chats. So what else you got for me? I do appreciate the conversation. It's been an interesting conversation today. Not as much shouting, mainly because we kept Democ muted. I'm sure if we, what do you reckon? If we unmute Democ, do we reckon he'll say bendy PSI retard?
Hey, hold on. Before you do that,
it's
idea one more time.
Sorry, say that again.
Can you go over the sonar curving idea?
Yeah. So have you heard? Do you know what a sound channel is?
Yeah. So there is. Can I just get my spiel out real quick before you start trying to teach everybody?
It might be hard with your microphone sounding like it's in your rectum, but you can certainly try.
Okay, how about now? Can you hear me better?
That is better, yes.
Sounds like louder rectum.
More rectum, definitely more rectum, yeah.
Okay, so we got a supposed curved Earth with whales communicating over thousands of miles from sound waves, and we know that sound waves on this supposed sphere would have to curve around the Earth. And now, for thousands of miles, they say that the sound is bouncing off the surface of the water, kind of like a slinky going down a stair, just kind of like the opposite way. It would probably be the best analogy.
No, not really. No.
Okay, well, show me. Like, do you have proof of this, or do you have anything you could show me in a lab?
Well, not everything's scalable, so you again, not everything is scalable. So this isn't really something you could show in a lab because it's based on the conditions.
Okay, so it would make more sense on a flat Earth if there was no sound traveling around a curve, right?
It would just other things that are a problem.
Straight line of I wasn't finished, and I really wasn't finished.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I like how you cut everybody off.
You need to take.
Yeah, but I'm not finished. Right? I'm not finished.
Yeah, just make sure you take everything into account. That's all.
Wow, dude, go for it, bro. You got it, man.
Do you want to understand about it now? Because as that's your profile name, I assume it's your main argument. And it just stems from ignorance of what was actually happening. Now, this is something that I wrote when I was in the Navy as part of my training. So, the sound channel in the ocean is formerly known as the SOFAR channel, SOFAR, or the deep sound channel. The phenomenon relates to how the speed of sound in water varies depending on the temperature and pressure, which generally increases with depth and salinity. So, to understand this, let's first clarify that sound travels faster in warmer waters than in colder waters. It also travels faster in areas of higher pressure, which tend to be deeper. The sound channel, typically found at a depth of 1,000 meters in the ocean, is a horizontal layer of water where these factors combine to create an area where sound speed is at its minimum. Above this layer, sound speed increases as you get closer to the warmer surface, and below this layer, sound speed increases due to the increasing pressure. Here is the intriguing part. When a sound is produced within or near this channel, it stays in this channel because of the way that sound waves behave. If a sound wave starts to drift upwards, it enters an area where the speed of sound is faster, and this causes the wave to refract or bend back down towards the sound channel. Similarly, if a sound wave starts to drift downwards, it also enters an area where the speed of sound is faster, causing it to refract back up. This makes the SOFAR channel an excellent conduit for sound. Sonar systems and certain marine animals such as whales exploit this phenomenon. When whales sing, their songs can travel thousands of miles through this sound channel, reaching other whales across vast oceanic distances. Similarly, sonar signals can also travel great distances in the SOFAR channel, which is why it's used in submarine detection and other underwater navigation systems. However, this only works when you are at that layer. When you are at other layers, you do not get the sound channel happening. The phenomenon that has an application in detecting underwater earthquakes and explosions, as well as studying marine life and oceanic conditions, as sound signals in the SOFAR channel carry a lot of information about their sources. Now, what you have just done is become less ignorant about something. How do you feel?
Can we get DMOC's rebuttal on this one? I need a translator.
I would rather your
DMOC is the only guy that's going to be able to translate that for me into English.
I would rather your rebuttal. I've now explained it to you.
So let's hear DMOC's response to that.
Synclenser actually, you know what? Synclenser, this is the conversation between me and Sonar Curves. So Sonar Curves, I have now explained to you the process of how the sound channel works. Are you happy you are less ignorant?
Show me a SOFAR channel in a lab, please.
Why? Not everything is scalable to be able to put in a lab. That's not how science works.
Why? So you can? All right, welcome to Flat Earth.
No, not everything is scalable and fits in a lab. The SOFAR channel exists 1,000 meters below the surface of the water. Please show me a lab with 1,000 meters deep of water.
Then prove that it's observed and not just some fucking hypothetical, theoretical, physical.
It's not just observed; it's used and known. We have studied it. I can show you several papers about the studies that have been done on it. We know it's there. James Cameron went through it when he went to the bottom of the Mariana Trench.
Good White's just trying to pull a
show some evidence then. You said there's many thousands of papers. Well, go ahead and show me one.
I'm sure that you're capable of Googling just as well as I am.
Man, that was an opportunity right there. You could have been like, yeah, here's the paper.
Yeah, here's the thing. I do not happen to have a paper handy on SOFAR.
I'm just saying it was a missed opportunity. That's all. It's just a missed opportunity.
I guess I'll get my time machine and go back and make sure I've got that prepared for this debate.
You can admit you weren't prepared for this, were you?
Prepared for a question that I didn't know was coming.
You weren't prepared for these questions.
Prepared for a question that I didn't know was coming. No, I didn't prepare for something I didn't know was coming.
Well, you prepared for the gravity questions.
No, I just know that.
You knew ahead of time. You even told me you knew ahead of time.
Because somebody told me.
You had to prep for that one a little bit. You can't.
No, I just know it.
You need it.
There's no prep needed. I don't prepare.
So
for
he doesn't have any proof for it. He just has papers.
I have
that
many scientific papers that I can present to you.
Hypothetical. You don't have any observations. You said it's at 1,000 meters and it can be observed.
Yeah.
So why did you say you didn't have anything?
I didn't say that because we have.
So why did you say you didn't have anything?
Because that's
so now
not true.
Why are you changing your tune?
I never said that. Why are you making stuff up?
Somebody rewind back the tape. Hey, Demon Stride.
When did I say I didn't have anything? I said I don't currently have a scientific paper. I didn't say I don't have anything.
Yeah, you don't have a scientific paper.
Maybe words are hard for you.
Maybe
words are hard for you, buddy. Is that the problem?
That's what she said.
Well, you'd think for all the science in the world, you'd have some of it, right? And you don't have any science.
I do have some. I do have some science. You're correct.
You just have words. This is why flat earthers are born every day. When they hear globers try to pass this hot and
flat
ready
earthers
type
aren't
stuff,
born. Flat earthers are created.
They're born every day, man. They're born again. I'll tell you that.
Flat earthers aren't born. Flat earthers are created after some brain damage.
Flat earthers are waking up, bro. It's because the globe
flat earthers are the most
like
asleep
the best
people that I know.
The globe is creating flat earthers every day.
What? No, stupidity is creating flat earthers.
You can't stop it at this point. You need flat Earth because
I don't want it to stop. It's excellent comedy.
You can't stop flat Earth. It's already won.
Won? What's it won? It's won the Internet Pet Rock Award.
It's won the attention of your viewers, everybody who's listening.
Yeah. My viewers love laughing at it.
The day it always ever did.
Cleanser, I need you to understand this, right? I have monetized your stupidity.
No, because
no.
That just
how
shows
do you
how
feel
genuine
about? How
you
do you
are.
feel about
I do
that?
this for free. You do it for money. That's how genuine I am.
I would like you to answer
you.
the question. How
But
do you
you're
feel
creating
about
flat
the fact,
earthers by the second.
Sinclair, how do you feel about the fact that I've monetized your stupidity?
I think if it's not obvious to your audience,
it's very obvious.
You're doing it for money. I don't prostitute truth out. You do. I do everything for free. I wouldn't do it for money even if you asked me.
What I do is
that's why I'm more real than you. I'm a hardcore motherfucker, bro.
I am the
probably heard about
for flat earthers. Flat earthers are my prostitutes. I make them go out and work for me.
You prostitute the truth out like it's a dirty whore, and you have no problem trying to just say whatever people want to hear.
I am the pimp.
It's fine.
Of
You
flat
can
earthers.
answer questions. We know.
You are my. I pimp you out.
This is why you do not talk or address Debunk.
Every time you talk, you make me money.
Well,
you realize
hey,
that?
man, if
Literally
that's what you're looking for,
every time you open your mouth,
that's what you're looking for.
I'm
doing
richer.
it because I like the truth. You don't have to pay me to like
these
the
words.
truth.
These words that you're saying are making me
They have
money.
to pay you to come get educated. They're trying to help you get educated. That's
do you
why
realize
they pay
that
you,
the words
because
you're
they're
saying
like,
are
oh my
making
God,
me money?
This guy does it for free. Go listen to this guy.
You're still making me money. Every time you talk, you're making me money.
I know, because there's power in these words.
Keep making
there's power
me money.
in this truth, and I don't have to
There
charge.
we go. There's
right?
a new dress for my wife.
What kind of price are you going to put on truth?
I'll tell you what, that's a bottle of tequila right there. Thank you very much.
Hey, I'm pulling from a well that, there's an infinite volume. It's kind of like gravity. You know how gravity goes on forever?
Yeah. There's no limit to gravity.
It's like an infinite well of gravity, but it's from like a...
Your personal incredulity about gravity doesn't change gravity. You know that, right?
You don't even know what gravity is, dude. I asked you all about it. I actually wanted to talk with PhD Tony, but he got away.
I told you all about gravity.
The gravity stuff is a slam dunk. Globers can't answer. They don't even... It's like you're speaking a different language to these guys.
What can't I answer?
You don't know the volume of Earth's gravity.
Because that's not a question that makes sense.
It's a well, right, in 3D space, and you can't tell me the mass of gravity, that the force of, none of that.
The mass of gravity, those are words that don't make sense together.
Mass is the interaction of gravity, of the force of gravity, and you can't tell me how much gravity there is.
Mass is the interaction of the force of gravity. No, again, those are definitely not words that make sense.
Mass is the interaction of what you would call the force of gravity.
No, again, those are words that do not make sense together.
Again, you can't put it together.
No, I can. I'm just waiting for you to make a coherent sentence.
It sounds like we're speaking a different language.
Hey, Sinclair, could you try and make a coherent sentence for me?
Take it slowly, Craig. Take it slowly.
Okay. Coherent sentence.
I know he knows. He gets to a certain point where he understands, and then it's like I'm speaking Spanish.
Yeah, come on. Just do a coherent sentence, and Spanish is no problem for me.
Is there a lot or a little gravity with Earth?
That's not a question.
Does Earth have a lot of gravity or a little gravity?
Earth has the amount of gravity depending on its mass.
Okay, do we know the mass?
Yes, we know the mass of Earth.
Yeah, we've done this before.
Yeah.
And then you're going to spiral when I ask you the deal breaker.
You're going to ask me a question that doesn't make sense, because if you ask me what's the volume of gravity, that's a question that doesn't make sense. It has no answer.
And I'm just saying, if there's a well in 3D space, that well's probably, you're saying you can't use geometry to determine a volume?
There is no volume.
We have a globe. The globe is the sphere of geometry. How much mass is that?
Is not the same.
You'd be able to detect how much gravity there is. Why wouldn't you?
We can measure gravity. Yeah, we can measure it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So how much you got?
FG equals GM1M2 over R squared.
That's a description of what you think is happening. That's not an
that's
answer
the force created by
I'm looking for something
that's
like
how much gravity.
59 or 33 or something.
So
tell me how much gravity you have.
At the beginning of that equation, the Fg, the force of gravity, right? If you plug in the numbers to the rest of the equation, then you can find out the force created by gravity, how much gravity the Earth creates. It's simple. Just do it.
And you don't know the answer to that question.
No, I don't have the figures offhand.
I'll give you all the math and the gravity in the world.
I've already given you the math, right? I've told you the formula to calculate it, and you can calculate it with that formula.
You're going to tell me what you told the other guy and says, go look for it. Because you don't know.
No, I told you the formula. Fg equals GM1M2 over R squared.
Okay, so plug it in and demonstrate. Be the teacher.
No, I can't bother to do the
learn.
math right now. How about you do it?
I'm literally asking for you to teach me this.
Okay, well, the teacher doesn't do
Let's
it for you.
just figure it out, man. You got the math, dude. You
okay,
know
right.
It.
So what's the mass
Tell
of the Earth?
me how much gravity the Earth has.
Go in. Well, you need to find out the mass.
This is where you can be an expert.
Yeah. Find out what's the mass of the Earth. Go and find the mass of the Earth.
Well, go to Cavendish. Cavendish has the mass of the Earth.
Okay, so what is it? Then you find. I've told you the formula. The formula
will
give you the answer to your question.
I wouldn't know.
Sin Cleanser, listen, I have given you the formula to work out the answer to your question.
I'm not that smart. I'm not the math. I'm not the math guy.
That's not my problem.
I would never do math.
Smarter.
I would never do science. I wouldn't do any of that stuff.
No, too much math, eh?
You're the guy that's the true believer here.
Yeah, and I've told you how to do it because teachers tell you how to do it.
So walk me through why you believe it. Let's see it.
I don't have
Let's
beliefs.
do the math.
I don't have a belief.
You can be a real shining star at this very moment.
I've told you how to do the math.
If it's not a belief, show your work. You ever taken a math class in your life? Because you have to show your work.
I've got a degree in physics, yeah. But
okay,
as a teacher,
let's show your work.
As a teacher, I would ask you to show your work, and I'm teaching you. So I'm teaching you. So I've given you the equation.
You don't want to do it.
So
just
now
like
I
didn't want to measure the globe.
It's not my job to do your maths for you. I've told you
how
to do it.
You couldn't even if you couldn't.
I've told you how to do it. Now you go and do it. The formula,
even if you tried.
Listen, the formula you need to find out how much gravity Earth has is Fg equals G m1 m2 over r squared.
Just do it.
Now hold on. I'll tell you what each of those things are, so you can go and figure it out. Fg, force created by gravity. Big G.
How much is that?
Is the universal gravitational constant, right? The m1.
Can any glober
m2,
tell me the answer?
I'm in the middle of talking, so just listen. All right, and don't talk while I'm talking. Okay, I'm going to start again. Right, Fg, the force for gravity. That's the first part. The next part equals big G. That big G is the universal gravitational constant. The next part, m1, m2. Those are two separate masses. So you can take the mass of the Earth and the mass of any other object. Okay.
Looking for a number here.
I'm still talking. It's amazing. Shut up and listen. And then what you do is you divide that by the distance between them squared. You do that and you get your answer. Go on then.
I'm not the math guy, dude.
Oh, well,
you're
that's
the
problem.
guy that believes it.
Well, I don't have a belief.
You say you're not a believer. Show your work. Show why
I've just
this
showed
math
you
equation
I've just showed you it. You can do it yourself.
Demonstrated to you.
I am not doing the
and
maths
I'm looking
right
for
now
a number
you.
because.
Yeah, well, I just told you how to go
when
and find
I ask
out the
how
number.
much, that's an amount. I'm looking for an amount.
I've just told you how to go and find out the number. Go and
of
find it
Earth's
out.
well.
I am not doing your maths for you.
You can't even if you wanted to. That's what I'm saying.
I've just told you how to do it.
Even if you had the equation, you couldn't do it.
I've got the equation, and I've just told you how to do it.
You got it, and you still can't do it. That's what I'm saying.
Can I interrupt with an answer? I've got an answer for Sin Cleanser.
I'm listening for anybody who's got an answer, dogs. Let's go.
I've got an answer, okay? The answer is 1. Do you understand?
Well,
a thing is equal to itself. A thing is one of itself.
You gotta be a glober to say
I've
this
just
type
answered
of
your
stuff.
fucking question, mate.
You gotta be a glober to say these things. That's all I'm saying. You have to be a glober to say this stuff. You guys believe it.
Well, yeah. Stop telling me. Right, Sting Cleanser. Right, stop. Everyone stop. Sting Cleanser. Stop. Everyone please stop. Sting Cleanser. I'm going to ask you once. Stop telling me I have a belief. I don't have a belief. I base my position on logic and evidence. Stop strawmanning me, okay?
Well, I don't want to strawman you. If you have the equation, can you just tell me what about that equation convinced you? It's a proof, right?
It's something
you say this is the proof.
I've tested.
Here's how you get it.
Yeah, I've tested that.
What about
equation.
that was convincing you?
I'm trying to answer your question. Shut up. I've tested that equation and found it to be true.
Well, how did you do that? How did you do that?
I did the Cavendish
what
experiment
about
myself.
it was so like, damn, that's gold. That's like
I did the
gold
Cavendish
right
experiment myself and calculated the universal gravitational constant from the things that I did with the experiment.
Okay, what's the universal gravitational constant?
6.67 times 10 to the 11 Newton.
Newtons. Okay, now that's something we can work with. Finally, newtons.
That's 10 to
something
negative
we can work
11.
with.
You
How
heard
many
one word.
newtons
You
of
heard
gravity
one word.
did you get?
No, you heard one word. Newtons isn't the thing. It's Newton meters per kilogram squared, I think, is the units. I'd have to.
Okay, so how much kilograms?
Newton meters per.
How many kilograms?
That's not how that works.
You said
Fuck's
you
sake.
did it in kilograms. How many kilograms?
No, I didn't say I did it in kilograms.
Okay, now what the hell, dude? You just said you did it in kilograms
I said
or newtons
Newton
or whatever.
meters per kilogram squared, which I'm not even sure is right. I'd have to double check.
Okay, well, what kilogram? Like, how many kilograms you get? You said you fucking did this, right? How many kilograms did you get from the doing it? Like, you should have done it
again,
and had a number.
You don't get kilograms. You get the unit isn't kilograms. You don't get kilograms. Fuck's sake.
Well, what are you measuring then?
The force created by gravity. And you do
and
all this.
gave
You figure these things out,
kilograms or
and then you can
newtons
derive
or
the
gravitons
big G.
or what did you
Listen,
get?
I'm still talking. Right? You measure the attraction between masses, okay, and the forces between them, and from the information that you gather, you can derive the universal gravitational constant.
Okay, I believe you. Now, what did that? When you did the measurement, what measurement did you get? Like, what was the numbers? I'm looking for an amount.
I managed. I can't remember the exact numbers of the masses that I used, but I managed to calculate the universal gravitational constant. It was over 20 years ago. How did I measure the mass? The masses that I used, I put them on a scale and measured them.
So in relation to the scale, the mass weighed this.
Do you know how scales work?
Well, I'm asking, if we have the mass of the Earth, that probably weighs. I bet I could Google how much does the Earth weigh, and they'd probably tell me some gravitational something or with the other, right?
Right. So it's 6.67.
So why don't you Google? If you can't
hold on.
Probably could help you.
Shh. Calm down. That's a good boy. So just to clarify, G is 6.67 times 10 to the negative times 10 to the negative 11 meters cubed per kilograms squared.
Okay, so how many kilograms
per kilogram? Oh my god, no, not that's. Oh. You don't.
Okay, you're telling me you did this by that times this upside down from the denominator of that. Of what? Of what are we talking about? What is the thing you're measuring?
Like miles per hour is not miles. You know this, right?
It's actually miles over the course of an hour.
Yeah, but miles per hour is not.
But that's miles. What are you measuring in Cavendish? What's the grams? Is it kilograms?
No.
Why did you say kilograms? What the hell is that?
It's part of the unit.
Okay. So
meters
what
cubed per kilograms.
The hell are we doing? Look, I've had it. But this is something else. I don't know what's going on here.
No, I know you.
You said you measured something. What did you measure? Was it in grams? You said it was, but it wasn't times this in the direction of that. And it's like, dude, why can't you just give a straight answer?
Units, but because there is no straight answer to the questions that you answered. The units are cubic meters per kilogram per second squared. All right.
What does kilograms per second squared mean?
Kilograms over seconds squared.
Is a kilogram like a weight?
What do you think a kilogram is? It's a mass.
I think if you're measuring weight, you're gonna get a weight.
Mass,
you're gonna be able to detect the weight of the mass, maybe
mass,
even the mass of the Earth would be weighed.
Mass, not weight. They're different things.
Well, if you have a certain amount of mass, you're gonna be able to derive the weight, right?
If you know the gravitational acceleration, yes.
We do, and that's what Cavendish did, right?
No.
Okay, dude. Well, I don't know what the hell you're saying.
No, I know you don't. You haven't a clue what you're talking about is the problem.
And you can't tell me. You say it's kilograms, but it's not really kilograms. So, I mean, here we are.
Here's what they do, Sin. They're gonna try and tell you all these things that don't make sense.
Cubic meter. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. It's not my fault you don't understand. No, I'm not going to have you strawman me. No, I'm not going to have you strawman me. So no. No, I'm not going to have you strawman me. So no.
Dude, are you just going to interrupt?
Yeah, I'm not going to have you strawman me. You're not going to just say that I do something when I don't.
Guys, one at a time. One at a time, please. Guys, calm down.
You're interrupting me.
Yeah, but I'm not going to have you strawman me. So don't strawman me, and you can continue. Simple as that.
I'm not talking about you, okay?
Yeah, you literally are. You're saying this is what Grovers do, as in referring to me. So, no, you don't get to strawman me. End of story.
Well, you're only doing what you're doing.
What I'm doing is trying to explain basic physics. What I'm doing is trying to explain. What I'm doing is trying to explain basic physics.
No, I think I was talking.
Yeah, but you were talking about strawmanning me, so it doesn't really matter.
Let me finish.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to let you finish. I'm not going to let you finish because you don't get to strawman me. No, I don't want. I'm not going to let you strawman me, so you don't get to finish.
Let me talk, please.
No, not if you're going to strawman me. Not if you're going to strawman me. No.
It's not your rules, dude. I could say whatever I'd like.
I'm not going to let you strawman me. End of story.
Greg, let him finish.
No, I'm not letting him strawman me. End of story. Sorry. He does not get to sit there and say things about me.
You have no
I'm just not letting him do it.
I can say whatever I want, dude.
I'm not going to let you, so you can't.
Tell me what I can and can't say.
I am telling you what you can and can't say.
What is your problem, dude?
I am telling you what you can and can't say, and you cannot sit there and strawman
me.
Dude,
come on, man. You're going to let this guy do this?
He's only, like I said, he's only ever going to do what he's going to do. And what he's doing
I'm not going to
overcomplicate
what I'm not going to do is sit there and let somebody strawman me. That is not going to happen.
Fair enough. Maybe you can
address it. That is not fair enough, dude.
I already addressed it.
I think I have the right to say whatever I want.
No, you don't.
So let me say what I want,
No.
and then you can address it.
No, not. Have you got a question for me about flat Earth or something?
You're reminding me of Hitler right now. Fight the flat Earth. You ever heard
that
guy?
Debok, do me a favor. Can you boot Sync Cleanser for that?
If you don't want to listen to the guy,
Demonstrate.
you don't have to.
Why don't
let
we
him finish,
demonstrate?
man.
For that remark, I would very much like Sync Cleanser.
You're anti-free speech, bro. Just let him finish.
No. Sorry, that kind of shit can get servers deleted. Demonstrate. You need to get rid of Sync Cleanser
I'm
right
pretty
now.
sure you're allowed to say someone's acting like.
No, you're not. Number one,
not
this is on my YouTube channel. Stop. Stop. This is on my YouTube channel. You do not get to talk about things like that. Demonstrate, please remove Sync Cleanser from the conversation. I have no interest
What did I say that was so obscene?
No, I'm not talking to you. I have no interest in talking to someone who's going to bring up shit like that.
I mentioned a historical figure that you're acting because you can't let him finish what he's saying.
Demonstrate, please remove Sync Cleanser. I'm asking seriously. He does not get to come be on my channel and say things like that. That can not only hurt my channel, but can hurt this server. Please remove him.
God damn it. Yeah, he's muted for now. We can continue the conversation.
I really think you should delete him from the server because that kind of shit can get the server deleted.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: we don't use ad homs like that here, so we'll serve that as a warning. Please don't call people those types of names.
Can you address the fact that Craig refuses to let me say what I want?
Yeah, I'm not going to let you strawman me.
Being some sort of like Castro or some other figure.
What I'm not going to do is let you strawman me. All right, are you about to strawman me?
What about you're being just like Biden? How about that?
Okay, you just strawman me.
Is that better for you?
You just strawmanned me. Are you going to strawman me, or are you going to say something worthwhile?
I can strawman you if I'd like.
No, I'm not going to let you.
Yeah, I can.
No, I'm not going to let you.
It's not up to you to let me or not let me.
It is up to me. I'm not going to let you.
Colluded.
I'm not going to let you strawman me. I don't care what you say. If you want to make a worthwhile contribution to the conversation, then do it. If you just want to sit there and strawman me and ad hom me, then fuck off.
So Sync Cleanser was trying to get some sort of clarification of what kind of measurement and the actual things you were talking about to try and make sense of them.
Hey,
so you
I
weren't.
A question for this for clarification.
Oh, dude!
Right.
Go ahead, man.
No, hold on. Before anyone else butts in, I will clarify that point for you because, unfortunately, Sync Cleanser didn't understand.
I didn't even get to finish my point, so I'm going to rudely interrupt you the way you just did finish your point.
You just did finish your point.
You couldn't. No, I didn't.
Other dude was fucking
interrupting, and then you interrupted him, and now I'm going to interrupt you. This is how it goes.
What I'm going to do is explain what Sync Cleanser didn't understand. So,
I'm going
to break down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down.
You're not going to do that.
No, what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down.
I guarantee.
Yeah, but I'm talking, so you need to stop while I talk. So I'm talking, so you need to stop while I'm talking.
Oh, you didn't get muted.
So once I'm done, you can talk. Demonstrate.
No,
once you're done, once I'm done, you can talk. So be quiet and listen.
You can't.
Here we go. I'm going to explain something now. I'm going to explain something, and you can listen. Right. The gravitational constant G has the units cubic meters per kilogram per second squared, which is expressed as m to the 3 kilograms to the -1 seconds to the -2. In more detail, here's what each part of the units mean. Meters cubed, cubic meters. This is the unit of volume indicating the three-dimensional space involved in the interaction. Kilograms to the -1 per kilogram. This indicates that the force of gravity is proportional to the mass of the objects involved. Second to -2 per second squared. This is the unit of acceleration indicating that gravity is a force that causes objects to accelerate. That answers every question that Sync Cleanser was going on about. It is not my fault if you guys don't understand it. Now, what were you saying?
So, okay, so somebody muted me while I was trying to say what I wanted to say that you didn't think that I should be allowed to say. Because you're some sort of like, I know we can't say that other word.
Are you not going to
What if we say hister? Can we say hister?
No, you can't.
Is that allowed?
No.
Why?
Anyway, I've just answered the question. Can you respond to it?
Why can't I say?
Yeah, anyway, I've just answered the question. Can you just respond to it and actually get involved in the
please
conversation?
don't say things that please don't say things that are going to get either of our channels or servers disrupted.
Right. So I've
responded
to the question. So can you respond to that now?
When I was rudely interrupted, what I was trying to say before all this happened, when I was rudely interrupted,
can you get to your point, please?
You know what? You go ahead, bro. You have fun playing with yourself.
No, I'm waiting for you to get to your point. Go on.
Nah, I won't dignify you with any comment. No thanks.
Oh, right. So what you don't know, so you can't respond to the things that I've said. I understand. You don't understand how conversations work. I've now said something, and this is your turn to say something, and I'm letting you, but you now are too scared to talk. That's brilliant. I understand.
Sorry.
Flerfs are cowards.
Sorry, may I interrupt here and butt in for a second?
Yeah, sure.
I think I don't want to strawman Sonar curves, but I believe that the point he was getting to is that the point I believe that he was getting to, which correct me if I'm wrong, please, but I believe the point he was getting to is that he was trying to say that what globe believers, quote unquote globe believers, do is that they intentionally would try to confuse people. But the thing that I've noticed is that the answer that you gave, Craig, was a good answer. You answered Sin Cleanser's question.
Yep.
But the fact that he did not understand it is more like he then the fact that he does not understand it, he tries to use that against you as in, oh, you're just confusing, man. You're using confusing words, which
I know.
I think that is a fallacy in itself, and I believe that was the point that Sonar Curves was getting to.
Well, how come it took you like 3 seconds to make that point? Yet, of all the words he said, he couldn't do that. Amazing how clear and concise Globers can be.
Thank you. It's because I'm not a flat earther.
Oh, exactly. There we go. That's exactly the reason why you were clear and concise. But yeah, so Sonar Curves, I've now answered even in more detail the problem that Sin Cleanser had with what the kilograms and that were. What do you say to that?
He's not here.
Oh, has he run away? Cool, no worries. Yeah, sorry. I understand I can get frustrating sometimes, but I'm not just going to sit here and have someone go, oh, the Globe Earther's just doing that. If he wants to be involved in the conversation, he can get involved in the conversation. But all he was doing was just trying to kind of ad hom me in some stupid way. So, anyway, Sin Cleanser, has your question been answered? Is he there? Sin Cleanser, has your
He's there. He might not realize he's muted or unmuted.
Shame on you, Fight the Flat Earth. Did you know that you are having your opponent censored? Did you know that you are actively engaged in censorship because even the mention of historical figures leads you to, even though I won't even say his name again, but they made NASA, bro.
Hold on,
they made NASA.
Before you go on about this, okay?
NASA.
Before
and
you go,
the other
Sin Cleanser, just stop.
You know what I'm saying?
Just Sin Cleanser, before you go on about this, okay? There is rules that YouTube and Discord have to follow. All right, those rules might seem like censorship, but we have to follow those rules, even if you don't like them. This is my channel.
Historical figures are not censored.
Saying
you can
things,
watch videos.
It doesn't matter.
You're such a
saying the things
you're
that
being
you said,
a snowflake.
Saying
it's
the
fine.
things that you said can get Discord
you can talk
and YouTube
about
shut
history,
down, right?
We can't talk about history on the internet.
Sin Cleanser, no. Saying the things that you
Lord,
said
dude,
in the
you
context.
have to be a Glober.
Sin Cleanser, will you listen? Saying the things that you said in the context that you said them can be construed against the terms and service of both YouTube and Discord. That is dangerous, meaning that my channel and the server that you are currently in could both get deleted because of that kind of speech, whether you agree with it or not. Okay, so just be respectful.
That is a fear-mongering mentality where you're
I'm still talking.
Follow the rules and guidelines.
Dude, you can talk about that on the internet.
Talking.
I don't know if you guys know this.
There are rooms
I'm still in the middle dedicated to this discussion.
I'm still in the middle of talking.
I'm still in the middle.
I'm still in the middle of talking. Right? No, there are rules that we have to follow. because Discord and YouTube can both be little snowflakes. It's not me being a snowflake. It's not Demonstrate being a snowflake. It's the platforms that we are on that can be snowflakes. I have been in countless servers that have been shut down for the stupidest bit of speech. I have been on YouTube channels that have been cut down because of the stupidest bit of speech. Why don't you show a little bit of respect to the places that you are at?
Yeah, this is just fear-mongering, and you're doing this to protect yourself because you can't actually debate any of the topics.
I'm still
you're going to keep on talking,
No, I'm still talking.
Well, I'm muted because you want me muted so you can keep on talking,
I haven't done any muting here, right?
Amazing.
Now,
this is just a Glover tactic.
No, I was still in the middle of talking. I'm still in the middle of talking, right? I'm going to do it again, and you need to listen and don't talk.
I'm finished talking, so you can go ahead now that I'm done.
So I was still talking, and you interrupted me. Right.
Go ahead. I give you permission to go ahead.
Have some respect for the places that you are. Don't care if you disagree with it. Have some respect for the people around you. Have some respect for Demonstrate and his server. Have some respect for my channel. Don't come here and do things that can potentially damage them because you disagree with certain rules. All right? End of discussion. Now, I answered your question about gravity. How do you feel about that?
Left.
Oh, he ran away.
Yeah.
Another one that ran away.
What did he say? What did he say that can get you banned?
He started talking about a mustache dude from Germany.
So, oh, really? So just saying his name can actually...
Well, it's more in the context that he said it. And YouTube and Discord can both be very triggered about certain things. And if people report it saying that it hurt their fifis, then that can be a problem, right? So what we need to do when we're in these servers and on YouTube is not do and say things that could possibly trigger them. APOC, who was here just now, the Flat Earther, right? His entire server was taken off of him. Before that, his server was nuked because stupid things being said in the server. It's not us that have the issue. It's Discord and YouTube. Simple as that.
I got damaged in that attack as well. I had a almost 7-year account with all my friends and messages that got just destroyed.
Yeah. So basically, Sin Cleanser was being very disrespectful there to this server. I mean, my YouTube channel maybe not so much, right? But this server, Discord, is really easy to get triggered at, right?
Yeah, I think we should. Unchain the Democ. What say you?
Well, yeah. Let's for the last 5 minutes, see what Democ thinks about the fact that a tire shows bendy PSI.
On Democ.
Democ, bendy PSI, tires. What'd you say?
I don't think Democ's here, is he?
Democ!
He's here. I see him there, yeah.
He's unmuted and everything.
Maybe he went away.
He's still there.
I think he fell asleep. I think there was so much arguing. It was like music to his ears, and he fell asleep listening to the arguing.
Yeah.
I guess if nobody else has any questions, I have a question for Craig.
Yes,
since
please,
we're on
Jay.
gravity. Yeah, sure. So this is actually a scenario that a former employee of mine gave to me, and it kind of left me a little stumped about gravity. Right. So what the scenario is basically, let's say we are on the South Pole. So we're basically at the bottom of the globe, correct?
We're at the south.
Let's say from a bird's eye view.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I mean,
So
there's no bottom or top, but let's call it the bottom. Yeah.
So from a bird's eye view, there is a top and bottom. Let's say we are in outer space, like we're in a spaceship, which I'm surprised by now we're not in a spaceship in outer space. But let's say we are, and we're looking at the Earth.
But yeah.
Okay, great. So let's say, so does my scenario make sense that we are looking at Earth?
Yeah, I understand. We're looking at Earth, and the orientation is north is up and south is down from our perspective.
Absolutely. Great. So basically, on the South Pole, let's say we see a giant ice boulder that weighs 10 tons.
Yeah.
Would it be correct to say that gravity as a force is strong enough to hold 10 tons?
Well, yeah, gravity is dependent on masses. So if there's a big mass, there's big gravity.
Okay, so basically, I have to now take into account the size of this boulder, not just the weight.
Well, yeah, because you calculate the force of gravity by knowing the two masses. So if you wanted to know the attractive force between Earth and that boulder of ice, you would need to know the mass of the Earth and the mass of that boulder. Plug it into the equation that I gave earlier. Bob's your uncle. There we go.
Okay, so great. So again, am I correct in saying that the Earth's gravity can hold that boulder in which we calculated the mass of it?
We could calculate the attractive force between the Earth and the boulder, yeah.
So in just layman's terms, am I allowed to say gravity is strong enough to hold that boulder from falling off?
I guess that makes sense.
Okay, so I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna take that as a yes.
Yeah.
Basically, that boulder is technically resisting gravity as we speak because it's a boulder that weighs 10 tons.
It's not really resisting gravity. It's being affected by gravity. It's not resisting gravity. Gravity is creating a force that's acting on it.
Okay, what I mean by resisting is from the perspective of us in outer space. At the bottom of the ball or anything on the ball in general, if there was no gravity, it would fall off because it's resisting.
No. That's a big misconception there, buddy. Gravity is based on the Earth. There is no up and down in space, so things wouldn't fall off of Earth. Down is towards the center of the Earth. Gravity pulls everything towards the middle of the planet. There's not gravity out in space. So like if you put some on the Earth, it's going to fall and go down to off the Earth into space. That's not gravity. Gravity is on Earth. The Earth creates the gravity that pulls everything towards the center of the planet.
So what I would ask you is, if Earth had no gravity, right now everything would fall off the Earth. Is that a correct statement to say?
There would be nowhere for it to fall to.
So then, okay, not down, but just it would disperse into space, so to speak. What I'm trying to say is it's going to detach from the Earth.
What would detach from the Earth?
Everything on the Earth. If there was no gravity on Earth,
there would be no attractive force between the Earth
pulling everything and keeping everything
But what you need to understand is there's relative motion, and everything on Earth is moving with the Earth. So even if gravity all of a sudden disappeared, we'd still be moving with the Earth because we were moving in that direction. I mean, it would be absolutely catastrophic in many, many, many other ways, but I mean, you wouldn't just disperse away from it. There's no that unless you pushed yourself away. But if I was just sitting here and then gravity stopped, I would kind of just stay sitting here. There's nothing that would stop that. If I pushed myself up, and then I'd go. But we're all moving with the Earth.
So let's take the boulder again. And gravity, let's say there is no gravity on Earth. Let's say an alien shot at anti-gravity going on Earth. There's no more gravity. What would happen to the boulder at the bottom and on the South Pole?
Nothing. It would keep moving.
It's just going to stay. It's going to stay on the Earth.
Yeah, there's no reason why it would just all of a sudden move away from the Earth. There's no repulsion just pushing things away from the Earth. Gravity is the force that is keeping the things. Sorry, gravity creates the force that is keeping the things on the Earth, right? It's sticking the things to the Earth, right? But all those things are moving with the Earth as it goes. The things on the south, the things on the north. So if gravity all of a sudden stopped, we'd kind of float around a bit, and if we pushed, we'd keep going in that direction. But in general, we'd just keep moving with the Earth.
The weight would just dissipate.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like everything would just fall down in space, because that's not how gravity works.
So more like you would be weightless then?
Yeah, you would definitely be weightless, because there would be no acceleration pulling you towards the ground.
Okay.
But does that answer your question?
I think it kind of does. I mean,
check.
I think the point that I was trying to
get you in a minute, Demok.
What up?
No, go ahead, Demok. Go ahead.
Are you done, buddy? I don't want you to get interrupted. I appreciate the question.
No, it's fine. Yeah. That was kind of, I think that sort of answered it.
Cool. But to just clarify, though, if the Earth continued to rotate, people at the equator would be thrown away from the Earth with an acceleration of 0.03 meters per second squared. But at the poles, there would be no centrifugal acceleration. So we'd have to obviously take the rotation of the Earth into account as well. But anyway,
so that means not a constant. Yeah, what's up? Not constant gravity on different planets and everywhere. We're not worried about that though. I just want to see 10 feet. 10 feet. Hold on. Stop. 10 feet in elevation on your cliff, anywhere you choose on Earth, your hill or your cliff, that you can throw the altimeter or at whatever altitude it is that you throw it, and it stays that way horizontally too. Let's go.
What?
Hello?
So,
gravity?
Could you repeat that?
Are you on Earth? Yeah, are you on Earth?
Yeah, do you want me to do what with an altimeter?
Let's answer these 3 questions. Are you on Earth?
Yes.
Are the hills in your backyard a part of Earth?
I don't have hills in my backyard.
If you go to somebody's backyard or you go to somebody where you and your kids can go sledding, would there be hills there?
There's no snow right now.
You fucking retard. Would there be?
There would usually be hills where there's snow, yeah.
So are there hills in a park?
Depends on the park. If we went to, I don't know,
a hilly park.
Let's say Lochore Meadows. Not really that hilly, no.
A park with a lot of hills. Which one's your favorite to perform gravity?
I don't have a particular favorite to perform gravity.
Okay, so we'll just go in your backyard or somewhere.
I don't have any hills in my backyard, so
or...
what's the point?
Okay, well listen, I wasn't done.
Do you have a hill like a burrow?
What's the point? You keep interrupting me, you dumb fat bitch. Stop interrupting me.
Demo, do you have a hill like a burrow?
Stop interrupting me, you fucking idiot.
What? No, I just need to know. Do you have a hill like a burrow?
Hello?
If you give me a hill,
be quiet for 3 seconds, little kid. 3 seconds,
do you have a hill? If I could have a hill, then I'll stick it in my back.
Little boy, hello. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about?
You said I need a hill in my back garden. So
your favorite hill or cliff? Yeah. Are you ready for step 2?
Well, I haven't finished step 1 yet. I need the hill in my back garden. Is there a shop you can buy hills from? Or,
well, I can't even finish the sentence. This dude keeps talking about his backyard all day.
Do you order your hills on Amazon? Where'd you get your hills?
So your backyard isn't a part of Earth's curve. Is that what you're telling me now? You do not live on a ball in your backyard.
No, I don't live on a ball in my backyard. There's no balls in my backyard.
So there's no curve in your backyard. No Earth curve in your backyard.
It's kind of a gentle slope, actually.
Okay, can you go find your favorite hill that has Earth curve?
Find a hill that has Earth curve.
No, I don't think I
can find
a cliff, a hill,
I'm sorry,
a canyon.
I don't think I can find. I don't
your
think I can
favorite
find
cliff.
I'm trying to answer you. I don't think I can find a hill that has Earth's curve.
Your favorite cliff. Your favorite cliff, retard. Hello.
My favorite cliff.
Retardo.
My favorite cliff. I'm quite fond of the White Cliffs of Dover. However, there's some really scenic
all right,
cliffs in
now let's go to the top. Let's go to the top of it.
The top of the cliff. Which part? There's a large section of the White Cliffs of Dover. Are we near?
Yeah, wherever
Folkestone?
your feet can be planted, wherever your little bitty ass feet can stand on the top.
Oh, well, only one of my legs work. I need to stand with a stick, actually.
Yeah, well, you're a fucking retard, crippled like Hawking, so that's not my problem. Anyway, listen.
Is that very nice? Is that a nice way to speak to a military veteran who's injured in service?
What you need to do is take an altimeter. I know you're afraid. I know you're afraid. Take an altimeter. Don't be afraid of an altimeter. And show us out 10-foot elevation, right? You're going to show us 10-foot elevation at the top of that cliff, and you're going to show us what elevation that is.
I think the cliff's going to be higher than 10 feet.
Then you're going to throw a ball. Then you're going to throw a ball or a paper airplane off the cliff, and it's going to show you how gravity's going to keep it at the same elevation, horizontally versus vertically.
Gravity wouldn't keep you at the same elevation. I don't know why you think that.
Gravity doesn't keep you around the ball at the same elevation?
No. Why would it?
Gravity does not keep you like a string around the Earth in the same elevation.
No, why would gravity do that? Gravity pulls you towards
the
center
gravity
of the planet.
doesn't make you curve around the Earth.
No, gravity doesn't make you curve around the Earth. If you're talking about an orbit, that's due to gravitational acceleration.
How do planes get around the Earth?
They fly.
So they don't need to follow a curve?
Well, they stay in a pressure band.
Why? Who the fuck said they had to?
Who the fuck said they had to what?
Yeah, when they steer out of the pressure band, what's stopping them, retard?
The autopilot, normally, it will put them back in the pressure band.
If they don't have an autopilot, dumb fuck.
Then they put it back in the pressure band themselves. They'd go, oh, look, we've gone off course.
What pressure band? What pressure band?
The pressure band for whatever pressure the elevation
We're at 10 foot high. We're at 10 foot high, dumb cunt. What pressure band?
What, 10 foot high?
Yeah, you're higher than a fucking kite right now, retard. You can't understand simple words.
10 foot
We're going to be 10 foot elevation. We're going to throw your paper airplane, which is going to represent your airplane, and it's going to represent the hill of your curved earth.
How are we doing this? How are we making the airplane?
Zoom out.
Can you talk me through it fold by fold?
Listen. Can you fucking... Are you talking to yourself?
Should we make the airplane together? I've got a bit of paper here, all right? And you tell me how to fold it, and we'll make a paper airplane, all right?
No, all you got to worry about showing us how 10 feet can go downward and stay 10 feet.
Well, you said I need a paper airplane, so let's do that first, all right? So, I've got a bit of paper.
Well, you worry about that, cunt. You worry about that, dumb cunt. I'll worry about you go show us bendy elevation.
Have a paper airplane, so
I want to see curving, dropping, 10 foot in elevation. Stop talking to yourself, you fucking reject pud puller. Pud puller.
Hold on.
Stop pulling your fucking pud, retard. Go outside, get an altimeter, and show us how it can curve down and stay 10 foot.
Wait, hold on. I'm still making a paper airplane.
We just want to see your airplane altimeter. He just said gravity does not fucking make anything go around Earth at all. Don't worry about gravity no more, guys. You can fucking go right to space. You can jump into space now because there's no gravity keeping you around or on Earth. Dumb fuck said so.
Around. Right, I'm making a paper airplane, so just give me a sec.
It's not around. It's not a ball.
So once I've got this paper airplane, what am I doing?
It's not a ball anymore now, all of a sudden, right?
Demok, once I've got this paper airplane... Demok, hold on, Demok.
Can you go to one cliff of your favorite and show us where there's no dirt and water in front of you to show us you're on the edge of the fucking
Hold on, 2 secs. I'm making a paper airplane. What do I do after this paper airplane?
Stick it up your ass after you show us bendy elevation.
Have you been watching my OnlyFans?
Show us 10 feet bend. We want to see an airplane drop down and stay at the same elevation, cunt, with a horse.
You want to see it drop down but stay at the same elevation?
Yeah, around the ball.
Maybe those words mean something different to you. Yeah. I'm nearly finished with my paper airplane. So
where's gravity at for my airplane? How do you demonstrate gravity holding on to my airplane? Is what I want to know, dumb cunt.
Right, so I've now got my paper airplane. What am I doing? I've got the paper airplane. It's in my hand. What's the next step?
Put an altimeter on it.
I don't have one of those.
Well, you better go get one, dumb cunt.
Could you send me one?
No, dumb hoe.
Oh,
I don't know
I guess we're fucked then because I don't have an altimeter.
So, shut up, retard.
Is there something else I can do with my paper airplane?
You got to demonstrate. No, you got to demonstrate up is down. Dumb hoe. Get to it, bitch.
I've got to demonstrate that up is down. Why
would
I do that?
I'm on the top of the ball and I draw a horizontal line from my feet. I'm going to shoot your paper airplane out from me horizontally. It has to be held by gravity like a fucking string to the center, dumb cunt, unless you didn't know your own model, you fucking reject tard fuck. And the fucking airplane is supposed to stay 10 foot off the fucking ground at all times, going down.
Planes should be more than 10 feet off the ground. I don't know what kind of airplanes you're flying on, but if they're only 10 feet off the ground, I wouldn't use them as a standard aircraft.
You wouldn't? What about a drone?
Not if it's only flying 10 feet off. That's more like a hovercraft, if I'm
honest. A drone can't fly, and gravity doesn't care about drones now, you guys. So you can fly your drone horizontally. You did, cunt.
When?
You said no dropping elevation. You can't demonstrate.
What did I say?
The same elevation around the ball.
I said if you can't go down and drop in elevation.
7,000 kilometers from my fucking feet to the bottom of Australia, bitch, downward. It's not 10 fucking feet high. Now, you have to demonstrate
fly through the center
how
of
the
Earth,
airplane
right?
deviates from fucking horizontal line, bitch, and stays the same altitude, dumb cunt. I'll wait. And if you don't understand your own model, please go get a Glober who does, you fucking reject. Maybe a fifth grader. Maybe a fifth grader who understands gravity's a magical string that holds your airplane right the fuck where it's at. You can fall asleep in that bitch, retard.
You know, gravity doesn't hold the plane where it is.
Airplane, gravity will make it stay around.
Demonstrate me in for a sec.
But gravity doesn't catch your air.
Yeah, all right, thank you. Wow. He doesn't stop, does he? So I think his problem is he doesn't understand how aircraft work. I'll explain this quickly, and then that'll be it for tonight. So an aircraft flies by matching forces. You got the force of gravity pulling it down. You got the force of the engine pushing it forward. You got the air friction. You've got all these forces acting, and when you balance all those forces, you got your thrust at a certain amount. You got your wing flaps at a certain amount. And you got gravity at a certain amount. Once you balanced all those forces, you will stay at a particular altitude. All right, and if you, for some reason, the plane goes off course, goes up, goes down, then it lets them know that they're no longer at that particular thing, and they'll adjust to go back to that altitude. But if everything is matched, if all the forces are balanced, that plane is going to stay at that altitude automatically because all the forces are matching. Now, the Earth is curved, and that means the atmosphere around the Earth is curved. And that means the elevation of the atmosphere goes out from the center at every point. So if this is the globe, very simple, this is up, this is up, this is up, right? So 10 feet up here will be 10 feet over here, will be 10 feet over here. Now let's say, for some reason, Demok likes to fly at 10 feet, but we've got an aeroplane flying at 10 feet. We've matched the thrust to balance out the forces of gravity and everything else happening. So we've got the plane going at a certain amount of speed that it's at 10 feet. And it's going to stay there as long as we don't make any adjustments to any of the controls. And as that 10 feet, the pressure at that 10 feet is the same all around the planet, the plane will automatically stay in that band of pressure at 10 feet and go around the curve of the Earth. Unless you change what you're doing with the plane. You add more thrust, you're probably going to go up. You reduce the thrust, you're probably going to go down. You change your wing flaps, you no longer got the balances forced. If you keep the forces balanced, the plane will stay at that elevation all around the planet. Fucking simple, a bit like Demok. Right. That is the show. Demonstrate.
Yep. Thanks for coming.
That was a lot of fun. And by fun, I mean I've got a migraine.
I figured you kind of. I can't imagine how you keep it together, fighting off all these flat earthers. It's
cannabis.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
And I've got something interesting to say. I'll talk about it after I've left here. But no, Demonstrate, I really do appreciate you letting me come here. I tried to be a little calmer this time. That dude that was trying to strawman me pissed me off a bit, but thank you, and I will be back next Monday.
Sounds good.
Great. Everyone watching, I have put the link to the server in the description. Please join this server and hang out for some fun, because there's a lot of awesome people in here. Unfortunately, also Demok and Sin Cleanser.
Before you go, Craig,
Yo,
can you hear me?
I can.
We are trying to get a bunch of people together to have a race on Kerbal, and if you feel up to it.
Yeah, thanks, Cole. We're setting up a multi-planet race or something like that here. So if you're interested or anybody watching, come by the server.
So have you got to start from scratch?
No, I think so. What we're gonna do is I think we're gonna give everyone like a certain amount of parts they can use, and they can build their own craft to do like a set amount of orbits. We'll come up with a goal set that they have to do, and then come back. We have to figure out how to do like the fast travel stuff too.
Yeah,
but,
I'm up
it should
for
be
that.
fun.
I'm probably gonna have to get out Kerbal again and remind myself to play it, but definitely up for that.
Yeah, it's sort of like you'll build your craft ahead of time, and then when it comes start time, you'll have your craft set and ready to go, and then everybody will
And just before I go, I'd just like to remind everybody here that Gleam is a flat earther. I repeat, Gleam is a flat earther, and Gleam doesn't even know the things that are in the city that he lives in. Gleam thinks that there's no nuclear schools in Gosport, when Gosport has one of the biggest nuclear training centres in Europe that all militaries from NATO use to train their nuclear engineers. So, Gleam, not only are you a flat earther, but you're a fucking idiot. Peace out, guys. Speak to you later.
Peace.
Wasn't that fun? Fun. Oh, goodness me. What was I talking about that I said that was fun and I'm going to talk about it, but I can't remember now. God, I'm tired. Well, that was an interesting show. Sin Cleanser apparently beat me by asking me what the volume of gravity is when that's a question doesn't make any sense. Oh yeah, we were talking about Kerbal Space Program. What was I going to say about that? I can't remember. Never mind. Too much weed. Anyway, I've been busy. Very busy lately. Not only am I doing my normal YouTube stuff, but I am trying my hardest to prepare my body for a massive change that is coming up. Many of you know I have severe injuries from my time in the Navy. One of the results of these injuries is that my knee is completely and utterly fucked. Currently got 3 pins in it. The possibility of knee replacement is out the window. I'm only 40, so the best option that we've come up with is to have my leg amputated, which is going to be happening at some point. There's a lot of work to do beforehand. Not even talking about the amount of MRIs and everything that I have to have, the year of psychological analysis and evaluation. But I need to prepare my body, which I've been doing by working hard to lose weight and stuff, which I've done really well. I've lost well over 4 stone this whole year. There's 14 pounds to a stone. And I've been working really hard at that. But obviously there's a lot of muscle wastage on my leg from a decade of walking around with a stick. My left leg is my thighs are wasted away. So a lot of the work I'm having to do is prepare my body, as well as getting stronger and losing weight. It's preparing, building back up the muscles that have wasted away. So I'm actually at the gym, like pretty much every day at the moment. My wife's been there training for a triathlon, and I've started to go along with her. So every day I'm at the gym, and then we're swimming and using the steam room and stuff, and it's taking up a lot of time, but it's good for me. I'm getting stronger and stronger and fitter and fitter. And obviously the main aim while I'm there is to build up the muscles in my leg, and my left arm's also fucked, so I've got problems with that, but I need to build up my right arm quite a lot, and my shoulder and my core, just generally get stronger to prepare for what's happening. So I've been I'll tell you what I'm doing at the gym each day as my sesh, so you guys understand what I'm going through, what I'm actually doing to myself. Each day, my daily sesh is leg curls on my good leg. That's pushing up. 40 kilograms, 3 sets of 10. Thigh curls on my bad leg, so that's pushing my thigh up. On my bad leg, just on my thigh, 10 kilograms, 3 sets of 10. Leg extensions on my good leg, that's doing that one, which is really hard. 3 sets of 10 at 20 kilograms. Leg press on my good leg, which is pushing out, which I'm really strong with, and I'm doing 110 kilograms at 3 sets of 10. Bicep or hammer curls, I'm doing 16 kilograms in this arm. Only 3 kilograms on this arm because my shoulder's fucked, but I'm trying to build up the muscles. Vertical rows with my good arm, 20 kilograms, 3 sets of 12. Straight up pushes with my good arm, 16 kilograms, 3 sets of 12. Then 20 minutes of cardio, 20 minutes of abs, and then swimming. So that's like every day, and I'm feeling really good for it, and stronger and happier. But it's all to prepare for a major change in my life, which is losing my leg, which is fucking scary. So during the days, I'm probably not going to be online as much as normal because I'm at the gym working. But I'm going to be doing like videos following the journey with losing my leg and everything, which will explain a lot more about why I'm doing all of this. And I hope you guys like will enjoy following the journey, because it's a big journey. Not only the gym and the weight loss and the working, but what's coming after that. The psychological and things I got to go through, and then there's the operation. And then 12 to 18 months of learning to live with one leg before actually getting a prosthetic and stuff. It's a whole thing that I've got to go through, and I'd like to take you guys with me. Yeah, but can I just transition to Eileen though, Craig? What? Yeah, I'm working hard, and I hope you guys are actually noticing the difference, especially in how I'm looking, because I'm a lot thinner than I used to be. But this is a journey that I want to take you on. So, what do you think? Do you want to go on this journey with me? You want to follow the progress that I'm doing? Because I'm quite proud of myself with how much I've put into this. It's such a big change that I'm terrified, to be honest. Not only that, but we all know recently I had a little heart problem, and it scared me, and I knew that I need to get my body extra fit. Jolene says, if we join the journey, do we get to keep our legs? No, you have to go and get your legs amputated with me. But yeah, so that's kind of what my life is at the moment. It's like working out every day, hard. I think that's a pretty good workout every day that I'm doing. You're going to see that get bigger and bigger. In fact, there's definition there wasn't before, that's for sure. But hopefully, I can prepare my body well enough for what's coming up. I'm scared. Guys, I'm terrified. I really am freaking out about the whole thing, but it's something that will make my quality of life infinitely better. But knowing you guys are here with me is what will help me get through it. And I just noticed how many fucking super chats I've got. Looks like I'm not going to bed tonight. Dave Hill says make sure you have some gear at home to be able to do as much exercise as you can while you convent. Yeah, I've got stuff at home to help me as well. One thing I really need to do is have like handles and stuff put around the house, because normally I get around with my walking stick just on my one leg. But I don't think using a walking stick is going to be as easy with one leg. And I can't really use crutches because my left shoulder's completely fucked, so. Anyway, as always, the amount of super chats I've got is insane. And I'm going to read through them now, and then I'm going to go to bed. But before I do, I just want to say thank you so much for the support you guys show me. Every bloody stream. There were 700 people watching tonight. Love. Love for all of you. Not you, Gary. Are you kidding me? Who's been a member for 16 months says, still waiting on the bendy PSI. Fight the physics. Tires! I actually didn't figure that out, right? When he was going on bendy PSI, I was like, what the fuck? And I was telling my wife about how dumb this Demok guy is, right? And I was showing her some of the stream from last time. And she went, but isn't a tire bendy PSI? And I was like, I knew I married you for a fucking reason. Not only are you sexy and hot and fit, but you're smart. Then my wife found out I was talking to another woman. No, boom, ha, only kidding. Janos Tacos for 512 huffs. Says, I'm not a clone. Exactly what a clone would say. Clone? What do you mean, clone? Someone said something about there's another me on the ISS. I'm not a clone. I'm not a clone. I'm not a clone. Am I? No, I've got memories. I can't... Wait, am I a clone? Draco Fire, one of the youth, says, who's been a member for 35 months, says, nothing is more hysterical than Flerfs thinking they're professional, orderly, and knowledgeable despite having the mental capacity of a fucking gluon. Draco, why are you being so mean to gluons? Jit420 says you need to fire one up to deal with these Flerfs. I'm actually out of weed. I need to get some tomorrow. Many Curran for 15. I don't know what that symbol is, but thank you. 15 of them. Says, if I speak nonsense long enough, I can claim the Glober doesn't know enough to talk to me and run away while still looking good. Foolproof. What's the volume of gravity? Derp. Oh, Glober Mum. Yeah, Demok can't have sugar. We've spoken about this, alright? Siggy Sigweld, you, awesome fucker you. Most of the members on this channel are thanks to Siggy. Says, for $10, I'm driving to a friend's house while listening to this. I may end up crashing my car. Dumpster fire alert. Hail Sagan. Thank you for your support, Siggy, and please don't die in a fiery ball of death. Pitt, who's been a member for 27 months, says, FTFE, both videos and live streams, sorry late to the party. Oh yeah, let's have a look at that poll. So, the poll is, do you prefer my live debates or my Flerfs are idiots videos? 22% said videos and 78% said you like my live debates more. That's probably because you're the audience for the live debates. I know there's people that do prefer a lot of people that prefer the videos. So I'm going to keep doing both. I just thought I'd find out what your thoughts were, and that's interesting. Now let's see if Google can count as I press end poll. No, Google can't count because Google thinks 78 out of 21 is 100. Janos Takos for 512 huffs says the weight of the Earth is 981 newtons relative to my butt. Bill McGuire became a new member. Bill, you fucking awesome person, you. Welcome to Scrappers. Not that Luke Perry for $5 says it's theorized that the singularity of a black hole has infinite gravity and density. Yeah, black holes are hard to figure out. My favorite new theory is that black holes are actually universes. Within a black hole, there is so much density and everything that it's another universe. And the edge of the universe for us would be the event horizon of the black hole that we're in. Interesting. I mean, I'm not entirely sure about it, but it's an interesting theory that I think could do with looking into a bit more. Caucasian Sensation for $5 says, FTFE, how dare you make us choose between live debates and videos? My brain went dog, pig, loaf of bread error. Sorry, didn't mean to make you choose. Yeah, Clive Wells says this untrue, but it's an interesting theory that I was reading about. Nick N, made a member for 1 month, says, Demok, there's no country in Africa that starts with a K. Kenya, stop talking. Clive, what do you think of that theory? Have you heard of it? And Todd Ferguson, firmament technician, member for 2 months, says, burn, baby, burn, Demok Inferno. Steve6464 says, explain the expansion at faster than the speed of light. Another interesting theory says that itself could be driven by dark energy, which is a result of black holes. I'm not sure, don't know, just something I've been reading. MB for $2 says, ask what's the weight of purple? Should be easy. It makes as much sense as the volume of gravity. Yeah, isn't there a lot about black holes we don't understand though, Clive? JSS Tiger for $5 says, listening to flat earthers is like being pulled apart in a black hole. Spaghettification? Whoa. PhD Tony, the only real person in the room, says for $5, Australian, Flerfs equals antisocial contrarian misanthropes. They won't trust anyone else because they themselves are unrepentant liars and frauds. 100% correct, Tony. That's why you're the only real person in the world. CV McCullough, who's been a member for 6 months, says, I raised BCs. Great choice for a dog. Fave. Border Collies. Yeah. I can't wait. I can't wait. Gonna get a dog, and I'm gonna call him Commander Riker. OG Yeti member, new member. Oh wow! Welcome to Scrappers, you fucking awesome person, you. Thank you very much. And then we've got Mr. Toffees, who's been a member for 18 months. Says, I'm a mental health nurse. Gleam has problems. Yeah, he's a flat earther. That kind of is the reason, I guess. Janos Takos for 512 huffs says, I'd like to buy a Bendy PSI and a Bendy Laser t-shirt. Yeah, I need to get my t-shirts, so my new one's made. MB for £2 says, we love you too, FTFE. I love all of you, not you, Gary. JSS Tiger for $5 says, around 350 BC, Aristotle presumed the globe shape based on lunar eclipses and northerly stars appearing lower in the sky as you go south. Yeah. Amazing what happens when you think, huh? Stephen Sahel, $20. Thank you, my friend. That's insane. FTFE. Proofs are as bad when Flerfs say it's just a theory. Yeah. Flat Earthers think that... Excuse me. Flat Earthers think that when you say that science doesn't prove things, that means, science doesn't know anything. No, that's just because they don't understand what proof means in the context of science. Prof. Phil Bell, I've set my budget at about £800. I see I'm going from anything from 200 to like $2,000. So who knows? Tim Pryor for $5. Thank you very much, Tim. Says, so let me get this straight. These flat earthers are still talking about the globe and nothing about flat Earth. Well, there's the reason for that. That's because the globe is real and flat Earth is a fairy tale. Ari, for $1.99, says, exterminate. He thought we were saying dialect when we were saying Dalek. MB, for $5, says, more dirt money. Well, thank you, MB. I appreciate it. Plastic Citizen, for $5, FTFE, the flat earth pimp, making money by mocking the flat earth. And I support that, yeah. When a flat earther is going to realise, you will work for me. Like, you're my employees. Well, interns, because I ain't fucking paying you. 3Ron for $2 says, petty super chat making Craig money off of Flerfs. Thank you very much. I do love monetizing their stupidity. Binge Thinker for $99 says, this is money generated by Flerf stupidity. Thank you. Flerfs being stupid gives me money. I love it. Connor Silver for $2 says, Synclenser is clearly trying to reify gravity. Lol. Reification fallacy. NA, $6.66 says, FTFE, I enjoy you mocking the stupidity of Flat Earth, and I guess Flat Earthers don't get that. Lord Loomis Pooh, $5, Synclenser, how long is blue? How hot is thought? Fill one hand with smart and the other with poo and tell me which fills first. You. Flat Earthers eat poo. Connor Silver for $2. Synclenser wants the answer. The answer is always 42. But what's the question, guys? Steve6464 for $5 says, do they not know that that gravitational well is made from all sides of Earth? They think that the gravitational well is only from the South Pole. Oh, they're that stupid, yeah. Sorry, I always underestimate the stupidity of flat earthers. Tim Pryor for $5. Thank you again, Tim. This is exactly why we can't make Flat Earth disappear by simply logging off social media. They are not smart at all. No. They will always be stupid. 3Ron for $2 says, Demok is like scorching herpes. He doesn't go away. Don't be mean to herpes, dude. Chad Wessendorf for $10. Thank you, Mr. Wessendorf. Pimp him out, Craig. I will. I'm the fucking Flerf pimp. Pronon1990 has been a member for 16 months. Didn't leave a message, but thank you very much. Albius for $5 Canadian. The irony of discussing... Jumped. Too many super chats. The irony of disgusting Dimok calling you a retard and using that vile language with children near him. He's so abusive. There's children near him? He shouldn't be allowed near kids. Bobby Two Hands for £10 says, I don't know who sucks more, flat earthers or TikTok pranksters. Yeah, it's actually quite hard, isn't it? That's what she said. PhD Tony, only real man in the world. For $5, Gleam is deranged contrarian who will say whatever he thinks will sustain an argument because it's the only way he can get attention. Yeah. And he's a fucking idiot flat earther that thinks there's no nukes going Gosport. Vector for $10. Thank you, Vector. Craig, if you could learn pain management for your bad leg, would you want that rather than having your leg amputated? I figure I'd ask. I'd hate for you to lose your leg. My friend, I've spent the better part of 12 years doing pain management. And I can't do it anymore. I live my life in agony 24 hours a day. I wake up, the first sensation I have is pain. Before I go to sleep, the last sensation I have is pain. Every movement I make is agony, right? And I've dealt with that for over a decade. I can't do it anymore. I've been through the pain management clinics over and over, and it doesn't do anything for me. I don't want to manage the pain, right? I'm not strong enough anymore to do that. I don't want to live a life where I have to always think about the pain in my leg and, what I'm going to, no leg, life simple. A prosthetic, no pain. It's no contest in my mind. I don't want to live the rest of my life in agony in my knee. And I'm only 40. I've got a lot of my life left and I'm getting fitter. I want to be able to run a marathon again, I can't do that with a duff knee that's pain. No leg, no pain. Mr. Blockton, member for 18 months, says, hey Craig, no smart ass comments ripping the Flerfs here. I'll leave that to you. Thank you for dealing with these Flerf dullards. You rock, brother. No, you rock for supporting this channel. Thank you very much. Jolene, who's been a member for 20 months. That's very close to twice around the sun. Your clone is a model T800 Series 102. I'm not a clone. I'm not. I'm not a clone. I'm not. Stop it. Rachbot has been a member for 42 months. That's like forever. I love you, Rach. 42 months. I'll grab my towel. Lord Lunas Poo for $5. If the cat food made it to ISS, does that mean Dave got all the steaks and hams that were meant for you? What do you mean for me? I'm not on the ISS. Why do people think I'm on the ISS? I'm here. Fuck, I'm not a clone. Rick Sanchez, why are you here? You should be disrupting the Galactic Federation. You may be losing a leg, but at least your third leg is huge. That's what my OnlyFans is for, right? You want to see my third leg? Check out my OnlyFans. Ramus Grummer for 10 rons says black holes are flat. They may appear that way due to gravitational forces. And last one, AB Box became a new member. Welcome to Scrappers, you fucking awesome person, you. What an amazing stream. What an amazing amount of support. And you know what? Because you guys have given me so much support, I'm going to punish you and play you a song where I rap. Wait, where is it? Where's Airplanes? There it is. Enjoy! Lord Luminous Pooh says for $2, no brain, no pain. Prof. Phil Bell, yeah, I've already got, modifications to help me do that.
Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars?
Yes, they have, Phantom Pain is normally for, emergency things.
Good morning. These words come with a storm warning. Better batten down the hatches, grab some matches and brace yourself for a long day of misery. YouTube has given me the power to reach up into the sky and show you all that we live on the ball. I bring you science that's comprehensible. Your view is indefensible. You're reprehensible. Go on, Mr. Sensible. When I was young, I never thought I would be here to see this. A pile of random nonsense dressed up as bullshit. Your ignorance will be the death of us all, like running headfirst full speed into a wall. You could always read a book, buy a telescope, set it up and take a photo of the moon, or just be a buffoon. I send you in a balloon onto the stratosphere on page 3.
You're a few fries short of a happy meal. You're dumber than a box of hair. The wheel's spinning but the hamster's dead, and you're as smart as bait. You forgot to pay your brain bill. You're missing a few buttons on the remote control. 24 cents short of a quarter. You're surfing in Nebraska. You're as bright as Alaska in December and you fell out of your family tree. You don't have all the cornflakes in one box. You got an IQ of 2 and it takes 3 to grunt. The elevator doesn't go all the way up and there's a vacancy on the top floor. Your antenna doesn't pick up all the channels. You're several nuts short of a
You're Mr.
fruitcake.
Sensible, calm down, don't go too hard. You don't need the hard burying Flerfs in your backyard. You're a man of science, poise and grace. Mage 2 did everything to wipe the grins off the face. So Nathan, get away from those kids. The world is not flat and it doesn't have a lid. Recognize the differences between the textbook and the Bible and control yourself. Lay off your slander and your lies. You're a bunch of knobs poisoning the well of the youth. Spreading lies that you like to claim as knowledge and truth. Stop spreading fresh bullshit like the butter on your bread. Maybe a musical assault will knock some sense into your head. I hope one day you'll hear these lyrics and smile, and you realise you used to be a 40-year-old child. Now it's time to wake up, open your eyes and see, and acknowledge the existence of.
You're a few clowns short of a circus. Your phone is off the hook. Your sewing machine is out of thread. You're all foam and no beer. You don't have all your dogs on one leash. An intellect rivaled only by garden tools. There's no grain in your silo, and your skylight leaks a little. Your belt doesn't go through all the loops. You couldn't pour water out of a boot without instructions on the heel. Your slinky's kinked, and you're proof that evolution can work in reverse. A few feathers short of a whole duck, one fruit loop short of a full bowl.
Airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars. Should be wishing for a brain right now, brain right now, brain right now. Can we pretend that airplanes in the night sky are like shooting stars? Should be wishing for a brain right now, brain right now, brain right now.
You thought it was over? Well, I'm still standing while you're swinging, flinging feces, talking shit just like the human centipede. You got the mind of a chimp, and I'm here to expedite your shore leave. Cause I'm a seaman, but not the kind I rit up on your mum's gums. I'm the kind that sailed submarines and fired guns. I could float a boat across the ocean with my eyes closed, circumnavigate the globe with a compass and a bag of sausage rolls. Well, all you can do is nibble on your toes. I'll smack you with the hose that you taught a water level, sit and swivel. You nasal gazing muppet, you can stuff it harder than the wallet stuffed by Warren Buffett. And I don't care about your sauces unless you're serving them. And I don't care about your lines unless you're curving them. Now step away from me, you're sucking up my oxygen with the vacuum where your brain should be, you dumb fuck. Thanks for watching, guys. You are the best. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flyer. Fight the fly. Fight the fly. Fight the fly. Fight the fight the fight. Fight the fly. 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 Fight the fight the fight. Fight the fly. Fight the fly. Good night, all. Fight the fly. Fight the fly. Fight the fly. Fight 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 the fly. 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 Fight 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 the fly. Fight the fly.